Bruno. Oh. Is he far away in another part of the world right now?
Oh.
Bruno's in the waiting room.
Oh.
So unusual.
Hi Bruno, can you hear us? Just checking to see if we're all connected. I'm going to assume we are.
Might have to plug in.
And there's copies of the budget and the warrant and the agenda up here.
Find any way to screen to your names in your mind. They're coming this way.
That's what Andrew said.
It being 5 o'clock, I call the select board meeting to order. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
We post the agenda now. I try to post it by Friday at the latest, and since Friday, some things trickle into the signature file, so and of course my account balance, so I'm just saying that the new agenda is updated with some things in the signature file and some things in the administrator report, but no other major changes.
Is there any public input? Hearing no public input, move on to new business. Request for funding.
Yeah, Misty had to run back to the office, so she's going to be about 15 minutes late. So if we could skip ahead. And I don't see
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
She was up at Great Glen this afternoon. Race down here.
Oh, okay.
We will move on to Leanne Prentice with the Bear Camp Center summer camp as well as the Bear Camp Center meals.
Hello. I'm going to start with the community meals. You have all the breakdown in these packets, so just so you know what you're looking at, the first page that you have, once you get through the cover sheet with all the narrative and bullet points, that breaks down for you the mission of the work that we're doing, kind of the overview of the meals program in general, and then in the bottom third it gets into the Tamworth specifics, which I'll go over in just a minute, and then the camp is on the back of that page. And then if you flip to the pie chart, which I'm sorry, it's so tiny, I tried to fit it all on one page, that just gives you kind of a visual breakdown of, first of all, our Bear Camp Center's budget in general, and how the meals income and expenses play into our overall budget. And the last page when we get to the camp is our camp budget, because we create a specific budget for that. So going back to the narrative, this year we're asking for $6,000 for the meals. That's been an increase, a slow increase over time, and the reason for that is that this will be the third year that we've asked the town for support for the meals that we create, which are fully cooked, single serving, nutritionally balanced meals cooked in our licensed kitchen, and they're made available for people by donation. So the model is designed so that somebody who pulls up can walk in and take a meal, make a donation if they're able. Some people pay nothing, some people pay $20 a meal. Because it's open to everybody, it's kind of a pay it forward model, so we try to encourage not just people in need to use the service, but people who just like the cooking to use the service too, to help pay for the folks that can't afford it. When we first asked the town for money, honestly, I pulled a number, trying to balance our budget. We hadn't started really collecting data at that point, and over the past 2 years, we have created systems to collect data. So the number that we're using now, you can see the breakdown of it, reflects the number of Tamworth folks who sign up when they take a meal. Now when you come in the room to grab a meal, there's a clipboard, and it's like a self-survey. So you can write down the number of meals you've taken, the age or ages of the people who will be eating those meals, and the town you're from. You don't have to put your name your address, anything like that, just the town. We keep track of the number of meals that we cook, and then we keep track of the number of meals people sign out. And honestly, only about 60% of the people who take meals sign. So these numbers that we're sharing are accurate based on that self-reporting, but they're actually low by 40% or so, because not everybody takes the time to fill out that form.
Question.
Yeah.
Would it be useful and not too invasive to occasionally have a staff person volunteer in the room to extract all that information in one day per quarter, one day a month, so you could make some better estimates about that 40% that don't report? I mean, how uncomfortable do you think people would be?
That's a good question. I don't know how uncomfortable people would be. One thing that we've been trying to work on with the Bear Camp Center's entire models, whether it's the camps or the meals or any of the other program we're doing, is to destigmatize people using services around being poor. So I think if that person were friendly and just being welcoming, they probably wouldn't feel uncomfortable. That I think you'd have to ask it in a way that was really clear, like that people didn't have to answer and they could still take the food.
Might be worth doing it every now and then,
Like quarterly?
just to make, then you could make some good guesstimates about the unreporting.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious that it could be, 95% people from Tamworth. It could be a lot of kids, and
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Let me make a note. Okay. I guess I don't have to make notes. I can just watch the video after. So you can see the numbers here that we get some food from the New Hampshire Food Bank, which is a whole process, and they require reporting. We also use, for consistency's sake, the USDA rural reimbursement number for dinners. Like they have different numbers for each meal and snacks. So we have to have some numbers to factor what we to put a value on the meals, and that's what we are choosing to use. So you can see all the numbers here, and the bottom line is that based on that, 68% of meals going to Tamworth people, reported going to Tamworth people. If we did the math with that USDA number at $5.21 per meal, roughly that's $22,000 in meals going to Tamworth people. We take in from those donations from everybody about $9,800 a year, or last year. So you can see that the donation amount is pretty small compared to the theoretical amount that it would take to produce the meals. So because we don't know if the person taking the meal is making a donation or not, we're assuming that there's a balance in people from Tamworth using the meals. So we're not asking the town to subsidize that entire amount. We also write other grants, and we get annual fund donations that are restricted for the meals to support the meals program. So we're asking for the $6,000, which is 27% of the Tamworth estimated amount.
How much did you ask for last year?
Last year we asked for, the first year was 3, last year was 5, and this year was 6. And this seems like, unless something dramatically changes with Tamworth's need, this is probably a much more stable snapshot, a data-driven snapshot.
Yeah, how many employees does the Bear Camp Center have?
We have, I'm full-time, Heidi Fail is probably 3/4 time year-round. We have a bookkeeper who works hourly. And then in camp season, we have 22 employees for camp.
But it's basically just the two of you?
It's just
doing all-
Heidi and me, yeah. And a bunch of really good volunteers. Yeah.
So you make $9,800 a year on donations for the takeaway meals.
Yeah.
Approximately how much revenue from the congregate meals?
Yep, so we also have the congregate meals Richard's referring to. are, we have 7 meals a year that are themed dinners, and that people can dine in at or take away. And we offer that dine-in experience so people can have a little social outlet as well. The breakdown for those meals typically is that 50% of the people who sign up for them take the meal out, take it home,
Really?
and about 50% dine in. And we have anywhere from 80 to 150 people at those meals a month. And I'm gonna have to actually look at my budget because I don't know that number off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't have it broken down into the general numbers. So those meals bring in more money. They're more like a fundraiser. The people who dine in tend to contribute more like a restaurant amount. You know, like what would you pay if you were sitting down eating several courses at a restaurant? That's what those donations for the sit down tend to look like. So that's a bigger income. But this funding that we're asking for is designed specifically to focus on the
Yep.
takeout meals that are available 24/7, not the themed meals. Because the themed meals more than pay for themselves.
Yep.
Any other questions?
We good on that one?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay, camp. Summer camp on the Bear Camp, same format. The top 6 or 7 bullets are sort of the logistics of it. This year we're asking for $8,000. The first year we asked for I think 12,500. Last year we asked for 11. This year we asked for 8. That decrease reflects a couple of things. It reflects the number of sessions Tamworth kids participate in. Not necessarily the number of Tamworth kids, because some kids come for 1 week, some kids come for all 6 weeks. It reflects the amount of aid Tamworth kids need, and the amount of aid we've been able to supplement some other way. So again, because the Bear Camp Center is a pretty new organization, we've been building systems over the past couple of years, and one of the things we've gotten much better at is using different supports, generally from the state, that are available to kids either with individualized educational plans or who are experiencing pretty significant poverty. And last year, I worked pretty extensively with families who were eligible for camp aid through those different funding sources, and that trajectory I think is going to even increase this year, so I'm anticipating having to ask the town for less money to support Tamworth kids. We're also increasing the per child cost this year to something that better reflects what other camp experiences are. There are families who are more than able to pay that full cost, and that's not going to change our ability to subsidize those families who can't pay the increase. So even with that increased cost, we are able to ask the town for less money this year because of funding coming in from other sources. And you can see the budget on the last page, which just shows you what we end up having to spend on camp.
Now, I recall from past times, you start recruiting staff fairly early for camp. Does that pretty much happen in midwinter?
Yeah, I've already started that.
And what % are sort of returnees?
We've been super lucky that every year we've had, I would say, 90% returnees. It's not cheap to run a good educational program, which is really what this is. And we pay the staff well so that they will come back, because consistency is really important for the efficacy of the program, but also for the kids' experience. They see the same people year after year, they build relationships.
Do you have any warrant articles out with other towns?
Sandwich, this will be the first year we're asking Sandwich for money for the meals. Sandwich is the second biggest user of our meals, and they're about 32%. We are not asking other surrounding towns for anything for the camps, because every town but Tamworth has some kind of dedicated fund that is like a, I don't know what they call them, but they're like children's funds, so you can use it for ballet lessons, or to buy a trumpet, or to go to camp, and you apply through the either nonprofit or through the town itself for that kind of funding. So Sandwich, the Sandwich Children and Youth Fund pays a lot of camp tuition for their kids. The Ospey Children's Fund covers Ospey, Effingham, Madison, Freedom. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I should be clear, one of our grantors is the Tamworth Foundation, who generously donates, and that covers a big chunk of Tamworth kids as well.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll move on to the White Mountain Community Health Center.
That's me.
Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. Thanks for having me.
Caitlin.
Yeah. I've never spoken to a select board before about town appropriations, so let me know what you'd like to know about the health center or anything else that I can help answer.
Do we have
No.
We don't have
Okay.
packet.
A packet?
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's do this. Caitlin, come take this from me. This is the form that all the nonprofits got to fill out.
Okay.
So those are the kinds of things we want to know.
Okay.
So you can look at that.
Alrighty. Would you like me to tell you a little bit about us and
Yeah,
who we
that's all,
are?
it's
and-
all
Yeah.
covered right in that,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we're the White Mountain. I'm the president of the board of the White Mountain Community Health Center, and we are a federally qualified healthcare center lookalike, which means that we're a nonprofit healthcare center, and we meet a lot of designations, a lot of federal requirements for the programming that we offer. So largely primary care, but we also have social work, care coordination, dental, substance abuse disorder treatment, in-house counseling and mental health integrated into primary care. So our mission is to provide the community with high quality, affordable care and access to care. So we have a team that's dedicated to helping folks overcome barriers to accessing health care. But I'd say that for most people, we're a primary care provider in the valley with those specific mission, that specific mission. So I believe we're asking the town of Tamworth for $5,800. We are a nonprofit, and the majority, we're in Conway, the majority of our patients are in Conway. So the way that we do our town appropriations is depending on the percentage of users of the health center. We kind of look at who the greatest users are and figure out a request accordingly. So let me just get this pulled up. I believe in 2023, 6% of our users were from the town of Tamworth. And the number specifically is 145, which is 145 people. And that's close to the same as it was in 2022. We had 147 users from Tamworth in 2022. So I believe that the request this year is the same as last year. Okay, so that's how I arrived at the request. Okay, the program-specific costs, as you can imagine, are quite complex. And I'll be really happy to forward you all this I didn't realize you didn't really have anything to look at, but I can forward you, what I'll show you on my computer is, you know, how we do what we do. And you can see that most of our reimbursement comes through Medicaid, state and federal grants, private insurance, direct payment for services. We do get contributions from Memorial Hospital. Local towns is right here. So I think in total about $70,000 that we get from all of the towns that we ask for appropriations. So it's a small percentage, and it comes to about $70,000 when we put all of those numbers together, you know, all of those towns together.
So is that, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
So is that 70,000, is that like your budget gap? So you said, okay,
Yeah.
here's our budget gap, so we're gonna divide it up and ask the towns to support it?
Well-
Or is that like money that you haven't recouped from individuals?
Yeah, as you can imagine, our budget is very complex, and there are so many moving pieces that go into it, because a lot of how the health center operates, per patient visit, we actually operate at a deficit. So the amount of revenue that the health center takes in from each patient visit, whether that patient is paying privately or their insurance is paying us, we're kind of losing money. Not kind of, we are losing money on each visit. And what makes up that difference are a lot of state and federal grants. So, and there's a lot happening in the federal government right now. There's some free, you know, late breaking news freeze. So this year is, you know, going to be an interesting journey. But that amount from town appropriations, our finance director, Lycan, kind of told me that she's found, you know, she tries to keep the request about the same if the number of patients are about the same. And that amount of money, I have to tell you, I don't have a specific answer for what would change in our programming if we didn't have it. It's kind of been built into our budget for a long time. Every time an application opportunity comes up at a federal level to become a fully qualified federally qualified healthcare center, we apply, and then that distribution of those funds is based on need of the area. And so even though our area does have a well-documented need, it's not anywhere close to other places in our nation, because they're looking at a national level. So if we were ever to get that federal designation, we would stop asking for town appropriations. That's one thing that we've written into that application process. So this $70,000 is part of the budget that we've operated on for a long time, and I'd have to dig a little more to be able to tell you specifically what those town funds are going towards, but they're kind of going towards the ultimate number.
How do people do you get people just walking in, or are they referred by our welfare agent? How do people get to you?
Yeah, any number of ways. So we do community outreach. We have community health workers at the health center who do some community outreach with other organizations and collaborations with other organizations. People can walk in. People could be referred for specific services. So an example of that would be the children or adult dental program if they're looking for a provider who takes children's Medicaid for dental. Someone could also be referred for substance use disorder treatment. So they could be referred by someone else for treatment that we provide. And let's see, I'm trying to think of other outreach. Oh, well, you know what? We were doing a lot of outreach around vaccination clinics when we were really pushing for COVID and flu vaccines. So we were doing off-site clinics like at the Gibson Center for Senior Services and other places in the community. So there's a certain amount of outreach, and then there's a certain amount of people who are just looking for what we offer. Self-referral, I guess you might say.
You guys didn't ask for money last year, how come, what was the gap?
I thought we did ask for
Wasn't it
money.
them that didn't ask, they didn't come last year?
No, no, they came last year.
There was one, I forget who it was.
I think Sienna came and talked to you
Yeah,
guys.
Sienna was here.
Oh, okay, yes it was,
She
yeah.
couldn't make it here tonight.
You're doing great.
Yeah, and you know, things like a balance sheet and our budget, and our operating budget, I mean, I certainly have, though not at my fingertips. I mean, I have them on my
Can you
computer.
just,
and I
can you just email it to Emily, who will send it to us?
Yep, yep, absolutely. Sorry that you didn't have that ahead of time.
That's okay.
Yeah. What else, what other questions about
Do we have any questions?
select?
Nope.
No, okay. So we'll email you program-specific costs, budget, and balance sheet to Emily. What's your email, Emily?
It's admin
Okay.
at tamworthnh.gov.
At nh.gov. Okay.
Well, thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'll give you this back.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the OSPI Center for Concerned Citizens with Misty Ryder.
Hi. I'm gonna move up here. Sit or stand?
That's fine.
Whatever you want.
prefer.
How's it going?
Good.
Well, yourself?
Good. Well. So we're asking for, sorry, I asked 7 different times.
38,000.
38, yeah. So can we bill per meal monthly? So this year we had 471 meals that we served at Tamworth. And I think we used up all the funding. Does everybody know what we do, or should I explain the whole?
I would explain it. Because my understanding is Meals on Wheels, but maybe there's others as well.
Yeah, so we do, it's a Meals on Wheels program and a congregate program, and we have a facility in Ossipee and one in Moulton Borough. So the one in Ossipee serves the meals to Tamworth. And we also are open for congregate, so your residents can come and eat at our facility in Ossipee. Well, some of them come to Moulton Borough too. It's open to everybody. Not only do we have the Meals on Wheels and the congregate, we have a daycare in Ossipee as well. And we try to provide more services if we can. We have a diaper depot that people can come in and use. That, you know, families that need help can just come grab free diapers. We have a food pantry every Monday and Thursday for people that might need extra food. Trying to think of what else. I mean, we refer people to services wherever we can.
So the Meals on Wheels is 46 Tamworth residents, 5 days a week.
Yep.
What's the, I'm looking at your statement of activity.
Yep.
I've got, Town of Tamworth grant, town grant, $24,435. Is that part of the appropriation from last year? What's Town of Tamworth grant?
So the money we get from each town is considered a grant.
How much did we give you last year?
So I don't, is that the whole year? I think that the whole year wasn't done
This is July to June, so yeah, it's a whole year.
July to June.
Yep, July 1st, June 30th.
So we might have, so the money we get, we bill monthly, so it might have not, I think what you guys pay us is from January to December. So those are
Okay.
in between those two dates, so it might not look,
So that's the 38,000 you got last year.
yeah, it's part of it.
That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is, on the beginning of your page, when you were describing your cost, page 2, you say the 38,000 cost Tamworth is $3 per plate and OCC is $9.50 per plate. So the math comes out that you're asking us for 38,000, which is $3 per plate. Is that it? So I guess I need to know how the system works, because I thought there was a suggested donation from the people receiving the meals of $3 per plate. Where does that factor into it, if Tamworth people make a donation?
So not everybody does,
Yeah.
but, and we're not allowed to ask, but if someone does ask, we suggest $3. Doesn't mean we're getting that. And we can't, I don't know what town gives what, because it's all, we're not allowed to know. The state has strict guidelines on that. But, so we do get federal funding, so we get so much money per plate, but we only get so many of those meals a year. So we can usually get up to almost 3 months before the year is over. Then there's 3 months where just, it's coming out of our own pocket, so that's when a lot of this town funding helps, and whatever we fundraise helps.
So I guess I'm trying to understand the system.
Yep.
You're not allowed to know if anybody from Tamworth makes a donation, so you might get no donations from Tamworth, or every person who uses the meal might donate $3 for every single meal.
Yep, unless they like write us a check and tell us, we don't know who's
Yeah.
donating.
So then you're asking for the maximum amount, assuming nobody donates.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we're just asking for a donation.
No, I'm saying you're asking us 38,000, which
Oh.
is the $3 per plate, so that's making the assumption nobody donates.
No, that's factoring in, because it approximately, we know about approximately what we're gonna get for donations. It's similar every year. And I factor in what we're getting from the state, what people are donating, the towns are giving us. And so that it matches, like we're not like making a profit. So that's all a factor. It's not like, oh, if I can get $3 from the town, then I don't need donations. It all goes towards the whole company running.
So the $3 from the three, it's just confusing, because
So
it's
it
the
sounds
same,
like
it's the
the-
same number.
It sounds like the actual plate doesn't cost $3, that's that's our
That's the
contribution. That's
No,
the
no.
average.
No, I get that, I'm just saying that it's confusing, because you ask for a $3 suggested donation,
Because it's the same,
and you're asking us, and you're using the $3 donation.
yeah.
Yeah. So is the only other place money comes from the feds? I mean, that's trickle down, right? So it goes to the state from the federal government.
Yeah, so it's federal, state money,
Yep.
town grants. We do fundraising and try to get other grants. We're always applying for grants.
Yep.
And donations.
And the numbers of your users participating in meals pretty consistent year after year in town?
No, it fluctuates. Sometimes it goes up and sometimes it dips way down, so it's hard
What
to tell.
Do we know what it did over last year? Even your bottom line, doesn't even have to just be Tamworth.
I think it's dipped down a bit.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you.
Yes, but
Misty, on your Meals on Wheels, do you ask for $3 donation too? Or is it just the
It's-
congregate meals?
I don't ask, it's a suggestion that everybody kind of knows. But in people that are on Title 20, we're not allowed to ask for money at all.
I mean,
Or
I know
even
it's
suggest?
a
Yeah.
donation for congregate, it's
Yeah.
suggested, and they did hold congregate meals this year in Tamworth.
Yep,
Community.
yep,
So-
that was
Yeah.
nice.
So,
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
yes.
So does Meals on Wheels deliver the meals to the Nurses Association and then the Nurses Association deliver them? Is that how it
So,
works?
the Nurses Association handles, the driver's paperwork and, well, not their paperwork, they schedule the drivers. And they come to OCC and pick up the meals and deliver it out, and then they meet back here so one person can gather the coolers and bring them back to OCC. Cause otherwise it's a lot of driving for everybody.
Is that how OCC does it with Molten Borough too, or other towns?
So in Molten Borough, we have another site, and we don't have another like Tamworth Association, which is a blessing, because they help us a lot.
Yeah.
But no, we don't have another group that helps like Tamworth does.
Okay.
Does TCNA get payment for the time, like Paul Priestman or whoever does that work?
No. And I don't know what the answer to that is, because it's always been there, it's always what's happened before I even started, nobody ever like said, hey, this is why we do this, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, that's good.
Moving on to Transfer Station Improvement Committee reauthorization.
When when TSIC was created, there was an end date to the committee. It was March something, I can't remember, it's beginning of March or end of March, but everybody assumed we'd all be done by then, or not.
Last March or this coming March?
Another one coming.
Okay, yep.
So the question is, do we want to keep the committee going since we're still in the midst of figuring out how to do transfer station improvements? There's a variety of opinions on the committee as to whether they still are of some value. I feel like it's handy to have people to do certain tasks or bounce ideas off of, so I think it's handy to have them there for me to refer to. What the committee did say is that maybe they wouldn't necessarily need to meet monthly, they'd meet as needed and provide assistance to the select board as requested. But that most of the committee members felt they'd be willing to serve to the end of the year or some date that would be useful to us. Based on our town meeting authorization, we need to have all of our improvements under contract by the end of this year. So I don't think TSIC would go past that. But at least till the end of the year as needed, that would be useful.
Who's managing, who's gonna manage the federal grant once we start spending it? If we start spending it?
It'll be,
The finance administrator?
no, it'll come down to, I think, me and Emily probably.
Okay. A person from TSIC who's familiar with it, probably you,
Mhm.
will stick with that aspect. I mean, because that's a huge
Yep.
aspect
Yep.
of it.
I did send an email to the USDA, told them we are forgoing funding for the first phase for the bathroom project, but that we're keeping our options open for the future, and in particular, looking at equipment purchases, as we discussed, I think, last
Yeah.
You need a vote tonight to continue the,
I think for that, yes, they need to, I'll make a motion, we authorize the Transfer Station Improvement Committee to continue operating as needed till the end of the year.
Sorry.
any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Mary, yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 5 yes, 0 no.
And to piggyback on that, I guess the revised plans for the bathroom should be done. They might have got an email in the last hour or so, I don't know. Definitely this week. They simplified the heating system a little bit. The bid specifications are done. They're in hand. They've increased the bidding period a little bit and the performance period to try to draw more interest. And I've drafted an invitation to bid for the newspapers, so that'll all happen this week.
Good, thank you.
I've also drafted a request for proposals for a construction manager. We spoke of that before. So we could issue that about the same time in early March. We'll see what we get. And then decide in March what we award. The one bidder from the last time has stayed in touch with me. I told him today that he will get the bids, plans and specs, and if he doesn't hear from us by the end of the week, that he's to call it. So we know we have at least one bidder. I want at least two. And we'll see what we get.
Great.
Good.
Is Brian here for a transfer station? No. Okay. Sorry.
That's all good.
Moving on to 2025 proposed budget and warrant article review. We will review the budget and make.
Can I just say something before we start this? I would just like to apologize because I've said a couple of times now, like, we've been inviting people to come to these meetings. We want, like, each select board meeting during budget season to be a time when people come, be part of the process. And I said at the last meeting, like, the hearing is not the time to be asking questions about individual dollars and cents. It's to, like, catch last things before it goes to the printer the next day. And it was brought to my attention that maybe I'm the only one who thought this from our conversations, but I was under the impression that we had asked at the very beginning of this process that, that the kind of list of departments that were gonna be at each meeting for discussion be published ahead of time, so people could put it on their calendars and know, oh, I care about the fire department, I'm gonna make sure I'm there on this date. And that did not happen, so I was working this whole time under a wrong assumption. I thought that people had that information ahead of time, so that they could know who was coming to the meetings, so that they could be involved. And that didn't happen. And I think that Emily has already posted the schedule for next year, so that people can be involved in the process, come to the meetings to look at the budget, departments, committee budgets that they're interested in. And apologies that it didn't happen this year, because that would have been great.
So yeah, we said we were going to review the budget. I did post the draft budget online. But since then, I'm glad I did, because a few people kind of caught just some minor things, and I was able to make some edits. So I do want to say, if you're following along at home, any adjustments that were made from last week, the updated budget, I have copies of here, but they're also posted on the website under news and announcements, and also an attachment to the agenda. So if you want to follow along with us, you can find those from home. I printed it larger, so
Love it.
so we
Like
can see
that.
it. I don't know that I'll keep it this large for the actual annual report, because it would, it's a lot of pages, but at least this way we can see what we're looking at. So you folks have copies of the warrant and the budget, just kind of a refresher for also, people to know at home. Every warrant, anything in our budget is accounted for in a warrant article. You'll see specifically, general government is categorized by like the town administrator's budget, planning board's budget, and the warrant, it's actually number 5, outlines data processing, legal, zoning board, government buildings. So all those budgets are combined in one called general government. And there's another warrant article for public safety, which is police, fire, emergency management, another for parks and rec, and so on. And I think how we'll probably structure the budget hearing, if it's okay with you folks, is instead of like we've done in the past, which is where you go through every single line, and then you go through every single warrant article, I think it'd be nice if we went through one warrant article at a time and opened that budget at hand up for discussion, and then you guys make the motion whether you recommend it or not, so that we don't have to
Go back, that's
go back and repeat efforts. But yeah, so a couple things to note, just since last week, since we talked about this. I had the wrong number in the ambulance contract, so that went up $21,000. I was also wrong in the fire chief's salary, so that went down a couple $1,000. So there are a couple edits, but this is really just a time for you guys to ask me questions, or if you see something that you want to change, or if the public have any questions, we can open that up too.
Do you want to explain for everybody too, because this looks different in another way, it's set up differently than Keith's has done it the past couple of years, do you want to explain that too, just so people who are looking at it can...
Sure. Yep, so in the past we're in the habit of, we have this unassigned fund balance, which is this extra revenue that kind of sits there. And we use that in the budget process to kind of decrease the amount we have to raise in taxes. So what we call that is voted from the unassigned fund balance. And you'll see that we use that to offset like the purchase of the bridge repair, for example. $82,000 is coming from the unassigned fund balance. And in the past, we always categorize that at the bottom of the budget in an offsets category. But when we actually do the reporting in the DRA portal, that's categorized as revenue. So I'm now, and I hope you guys are okay with it, but my brain works with just like 2 things, revenues and expenses, and that's it. So, so that number is still there. It's just not categorized as an offset. You'll see it at the bottom of our revenues page. It says UFB for unassigned fund balance and the total dollar amount that's coming from there.
And that's also, there's no offsets on the last page.
Right. So our budget looks really high this year because we're doing a lot of capital improvements. There is the purchase of a rescue vehicle in there this year. There's bridge repair. There's a radio replacement grant for the fire department, and because those are all really expensive revenues, expenses, it makes our number look high, but those are obviously, a lot of those are offset with revenue, so the amount we actually need to raise in taxes is lower than previous years, but the budget looks inflated.
Seems like that radio item comes up every year,
Yeah.
and it inflates the number, and do they sometimes get smaller grants, or they keep trying, they don't get any? I don't even recall.
This is only the second year of it.
Yeah.
The breathing apparatus was 6 years.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was breathing apparatus.
I think
Yeah,
it's,
because it depends on how the grants are
Yeah.
divvied out, so they
Yeah.
apply for it every year, and if it's
Yeah.
their year to get it, then you do
Right.
the offset revenue, otherwise it's just a zero.
Yeah. But perhaps maybe we should start with just the warrant articles, and that'll kind of dictate where in the budget we want to look. So the first warrant article is just going to be, that's our town election, where we elect all the candidates.
I just want to say, I think that what you just started with, the explanation of how a warrant works in conjunction with the budget, has to be said at town meeting, because we saw last year, there were some folks who were new to the process and were super confused
Yeah.
about how the numbers and words work together, and I think that would be a great clarifying statement that would save confusion. It took us a while to figure out why the questions were being asked, and it was just because the system wasn't clear to that person or those people, so.
Yeah.
I don't know whose job it would be to introduce that concept of, this is how it works, folks. But I think it's useful, because for a lot of people, it's a new system to be part of.
Yeah. I can talk to Chris about that. The moderator can kind of sum it up, I would think.
Yeah.
All right, so article number 2. This is, if you remember, a couple years ago, we realized our contingency fund was bigger beyond what it was legally allowed to be. And contingency is for things that are, like your legal line went over. You can pull from you guys can make a motion to use contingency fund. But what we did was we established 3 expendable trust funds for repair, maintenance, and one other thing. Anyway, built a town buildings, equipment, and infrastructure. And what we're trying to do this year is combine those 3 expendable trust funds. They each had $50,000 in it. And now we're combining it into one fund that has $150,000 in it and add purchase in there, so that when you do have a big expense, you could pull from that fund. So why there's a little extra is because those 3 funds gained interest over the last 2 years. So it's a total of $164,000. So you'll see that this article is contingent on the next article passing. So basically this is creating the fund using unassigned fund balance money, and the next article is disbanding those 3 ETFs which go into the fund. So it's kind of an illusion of money moving.
But the adding of the word purchase is important, because we came across that in conversations
Yeah.
about
We were looking at things like the backhoe at the transfer
station, right?
or compactor at the transfer station.
If it breaks, what do we do?
If it died completely, right?
Right, and the idea of this is to also get our departments to lower their maintenance line in their budgets. Every year we're budgeting for a big disaster in highway or, police and equipment repair. And when it doesn't happen, that money's raised and then just rolls over into the unassigned fund balance. So best to just keep
Not
it here.
raise
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the first, that's Article 2 and 3. Number 4 is to Remember, we created a separation obligation fund. That was for retirement obligations, when somebody retires, we need to pay them out. We used 15,000 of that this past year, so this is just replenishing that amount to keep it at a $30,000 balance. Do you have a question, Becky?
Yeah, because you told me yesterday that I should see that transfer in the revenue, and I couldn't find it in your revenue anywhere.
So are you looking at this one? Because
The new one, did you tag it in?
yeah, I did,
Okay.
yep. So you'll see, you'll see it on the revenue side that we used
Okay, 'cause
15,000.
it wasn't in the original.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I
so
made
you
that, I made a
added
couple
that. Just wanted to
changes
make
over the
sure-
last
yeah,
couple
just wanted to
days.
make sure you added it.
Yeah.
And the question comes, now I've compared 3 different sheets, the revenue sheet and the year-to-date.
Yeah.
Because that moves to the trustee of the trust funds, you can't really see the payout because it's put in the department, am I correct? So like if you paid out someone who left from administration, separation pay.
Yeah,
That goes into the budget, line item budget for town administrator and benefits. So we should see those lines go over a little bit?
so, that's a good question. I think you remember when I said it didn't show in my revenue
Yeah,
report and I wasn't
yeah.
sure why, and Elaine and I were trying to figure out. I think she had to do something with the journal entry. And I'll double check with her, but
Because it doesn't show year-to-date or anything, and it doesn't show your retirement, your sick and stuff overspent, which if you're putting money into that, it should show, if you're paying somebody out, unless you go for
Yeah.
3 or 4 months with nobody showing up for that job.
right.
Like last year, the
Should show
transfer
it
station should have gone
overage.
over.
Yes, for
But it
the
must be
benefits
somewhere
and
else
stuff, so.
Right, you see it in the, right, you're seeing it in an expense from, well, I don't know where, we're showing it as, I'll look into that.
I mean, I don't know if you wanna add a line under the department for year-to-date or whatever, that you're paying out additional.
Right, rather than
Whatever we
seeing it
call
just
it.
coming from the capital reserve.
Right,
Yeah,
Because
okay,
otherwise, you'll have to wait until the trustee of the trust fund report to see how much, but if you're taking a lump sum going back, it doesn't actually show the true expense
right,
that's been paid out.
yeah. So I'll check with Elaine on that. Okay, and then number 5 is our general government, so that's select board, town admin, and so on. Obviously, that's a large budget for you guys to look at, but if you have any specific questions, I know Becky will.
Well, we got a lot of answers, so.
No, that's great.
good.
Nope, it's good.
And I said just for some clarification, because it was limited discussion on some things. So, under town administrator, the salaries has taken a substantial jump up to, from 69,989, or 73,388 to 106,400. And then the part-time has dropped from 69 to 36. Now, I know there was talk about combining a part-time and a part-time job to make a full-time job. But are we planning on making a full-time job and having a part-time additional job, so you're gonna have 2 full-timers and a part-timer, or is that in there just to play, to see
Sure.
what you can get, or?
It's partial year, right?
Partial year, so, right, so one of our employees isn't going to be retiring until June, in May, June, so that part-time line covers the 2 part-timers for about 6 months.
And that's the same then for the health insurance and stuff, the benefits?
Yeah.
So you're right though, next year, that
That-
shouldn't be, that won't be there.
That line, yeah.
You hope.
We hope,
We've had some talks about that.
that's the idea.
The other thing I brought up to Emily, just so everybody knows, and she explained it to me, is the flexible spending accounts, the HRAs. It used to be in every department, and town administration is the only department that it's in now, which she said they lumped it in, which is fine. But do you know what we're paying? Because it used to be 1,500 for a family plan, 1,000 for a 2-person, and 500. Is that the same formula that's being used to calculate that 15,000?
Yep, that's still the same for the HRA, so the HRA works with $500 per person, the town pays $500 per person, up to 3 people, which is what a family plan is. So, that's the HRA, and then the FSA is $500 just per employee, not for, so.
And then my other one was the training seminar on mileage jumped from 750 to 10,600.
Yeah, and to be, that's definitely some cushion in that line, with, understanding our intentions of training somebody, looking at a finance role, a new town administrator. There's definitely gonna be some training that we're investing in this year.
And we agreed to invest in it, using MRI because, as you know, you lived it in the worst kind of scenario. We just have had kind of every couple of year revolving door in these administrative positions. And we feel like we've got potential for a person to stay in this new combined position and to make it a career position, which would be great for the town to have that consistency. So it's worth the investment to make sure that the person's trained the way we want them to be trained.
To that, I have a couple of points that I'd like to bring up with that. So, I understand the two positions that you're trying to fill. Each one of those positions are positions that normally a person that does that position has a long time in that position, and they understand all the minutia because the laws and the way of doing things with those positions changes all the time,
Yep.
almost yearly, correct?
Yep.
So there's a lot of history to those positions that has to be learned and then stay up to date, okay? So, right now, one of the town assessor that we contract out is about $35,000 a year. There's nothing else that's involved with hiring that person, right? There's no loaded rate other than that. We know what loaded rate is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same thing with the finance person. It's a very, being a finance manager is a very honed in kind of a job. My father was a CPA, I understand it. Again, there's no loaded rate, just like with the assistant to the assessor's position right now, there's no loaded rate. Now, the police department put somebody through academy a couple of years ago for a lot of money. They got their ticket and they skated, right? I don't think it's a good idea to spend that kind of money to train somebody that, first of all, me personally, I don't know this person's background. I don't know this person. All I know is that they have been a part-time assessing clerk assistant. Did they have any real estate background? Just even just real estate, okay? Finance, is there any finance background? Because to go in and just do that with a training session, I don't think it's enough for somebody to be that adept at a position that's gonna require that much scrutiny by her, and the scrutiny gonna be put on her, I think it's a woman, right? By the state, where all these parameters have to be met all the time. Okay, so that's my 2 cents on that. As far as the money goes, right now, we are at a fiscal advantage by having it done the way it's done now. So, without even trying to go out and hire a part-time financial clerk, I think it's, I would do that. I would try to see what's out there in the field for people that are looking for that kind of a situation. That's just my feeling.
Can I-
Hold
oh,
on. Thank you.
Sure.
In the past, Becky, I'm gonna use you as a
Yeah.
history. We've combined we combined finance and town administrator.
When I first came on, we had a town administrator, a part-time finance, and that was it. Then they went to a town administrator, a part-time finance, part-time assessing, who also started up the webpage and all that. Then we went to, when we had the MRI administrator come over, he suggested that with the size of this town, you could get by with a administrator doing finance as well, and then having a part-time assessing clerk. And after that, it is mushed into what we have now.
But we did have, when I first came on the board, our town administrator was doing finance.
Finance and administration,
Yeah.
with an assessing clerk.
Okay. So I guess we haven't,
And it wasn't even a full-time assessing clerk at that point.
yeah, it was a part-time.
Right.
My feeling is if, I mean, I don't have a problem making 2 full-time positions. I think it's cleaner. I think if we can have somebody in there for a long period of time and not have a revolving door and be hiring every 6 months to 18 months, worth the money, in my opinion. But that's just how I feel about it. As far as the,
We had this debate, we understand what you're saying, and
Yeah.
we had the debate, and we talked about it for quite a long time, going back and forth about how to deal with it, and this is after all that discussion, this is the route we decided to take.
I just had to bring up my
Yeah.
concerns.
No,
No,
and
it's an understandable concern, yeah.
We talked those through quite a while, and the thing that we kept coming back to, Mark, was the town's own history in hiring for all of these administrative positions, whether it's the finance person, whether it's the assessing, whether it's the town administrator. We've had very big ups and some kind of deep downs in those positions over the past, stretch of time, as far as skills go and as far as learning curves have gone. And some of those downs have resulted in like audits that have been, and so there's been money lost on that end. And while we agree that this person does not come to us with a fully fledged skill set, this seems like a risk that we've decided to take. But your points, we chewed on it a long time.
yes, ma'am.
The only other thing I would say is, after doing the budget, is that there's gotta be plenty of support, and I'm not sure what you've got in there is gonna be enough. If somebody has no payroll experience, finance experience, it's not like balancing a checkbook, there's a lot more to it when you go municipal. And to have redundancy, because what we found is, way back before, both the administrators could do payroll and finance, as well as the finance person.
They had that.
Because if something drops and you lose a finance person, then you're stuck with people coming in and trying to pick up. I mean, that's why it cost quite a bit, because we had to hire out payroll, because
Right.
there was none of us on the board that could
Yep.
handle payroll. It's bad enough taking on the budget.
Yeah. And that's one reason that Emily's part
Well,
of the
that's what I'm
training.
saying,
Yeah,
I know what
redundancy.
MRI costs, and I'm not sure that's gonna cover you for the amount of training you're gonna need for someone to come in and take over your finance. I agree.
It's
With
just,
no financial, if there's no
There's a lot to
municipal
it.
financial background, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Now isn't payroll is being handled differently now than it has in the past?
Yeah, a portion of payroll is MTS, which is a sister company of MRI, is handling. And I will say,
Well,
I'm
we had other
learning.
companies print checks and stuff too, that's the minute part of it
Yeah.
compared to the,
But
it's all the reporting to. the
Also
government.
We
learning
could keep
while
the
it's
public comment until you're asked these, if we could keep it a little bit reined in, that'd be great. Sorry, but thank you, Emily.
So for you folks, is there anything else you want to focus on as far as general government budget goes?
I guess, Emily, to finish up that last little bit on the 10,600 for training, seminars, and mileage, is that the entirety of the training planned?
Yep, that was what we had discussed, which was
Okay.
kind of between now and June.
Yes.
I think 8 hours of training a week, which I think is gonna be plenty.
Okay, the number I was recalling was different, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else in general government?
Yes, Becky?
Just under the town clerk tax collector, the meals and services, I know we have less elections this year.
Wait, sorry, can you just say which line again?
4140.2069. And then maybe I can tell you what page it's on if I go far.
Oh, yeah,
Page 6.
oh, yeah, election, got it.
I know we have less elections and stuff, but I'm really wondering if $200 is gonna be enough for their meals and stuff like that, because the price of food and stuff, and the first year when we had lower meals back in the, whatever year it is that you've got up there, 2023, was 300 and something, they only put in 200.
Where are we? I'm sorry.
Bottom of page
Bottom
6.
page 6, last line of page 6. Meals
Oh.
and services under election.
Mine's on page 4, so I'm good,
Oh.
I'm going
Yeah.
with you.
Just double check with Kim.
Yeah, because
That's it.
with the price of meals and stuff, I mean,
I think it went down a lot because don't we have less elections this
Oh,
year?
yeah.
yeah,
It's
but
still
I'm saying
not
in
a lot of
the
money.
previous year, not last year, but the previous year to that, they
Oh.
spent $334 on meals, and we had less elections
Right.
that year too, so.
Okay.
Even if you divide the 1,100 by 4, which
Yeah.
is what we have this year, right?
Okay.
So real quick, because you're in general, I just thought you were gonna be breaking it down. So anyway, quick question, professional services? Just real quick answer if you could for me, why does it go in waves like this? You guys have actuals of $4,000, and then, let's see, actuals is 4,000, then you, like for 2024, you budgeted 9, and it was only 1,300, so then you're budgeting again 4,000. What are professional services? I'm just curious why you budget so much for it.
Yeah, what line?
It's on page 5,
Page
second to
4.
bottom.
Oh, for me it's page 4.
Ours is page
Okay.
5, bottom,
Oh, yeah,
second to
yeah.
last line,
Okay.
under town
Yep.
admin.
Got it, thank
Yeah.
you.
Professional services, that's a good question. I'm not sure why we budgeted 9,000. I'm not sure why we budgeted that,
What's covered by it is, I think, is that what you asked,
Well,
Mark?
why is it?
Yeah.
Is it something that happens? Is it like sewer pumping, or is it,
What's
I
the-
mean, I don't know, why would it,
No, separate budget.
what is it? Do you
Yeah.
paint the building every other year? I mean,
no, Becky, go ahead.
It was always there because we had to bring in MRI
Yeah.
to run payroll, we had to bring in, you had training when your previous administrator was here, that came in from another town, it was services like that.
Okay, so when money like that is not used,
It was
does that go into the fund?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sign fund
unexpended.
Okay, just saying, because a lot of people, cough that up every year, property tax, and then, okay?
yeah.
All right, so now just part-time salaries under the town clerk tax collector. Salaries, 2023 actual is 15,000, then the budget for 24 was 4,000, but the actual was 19,000. And now it's 4,000 proposed for this year. I
Yeah,
don't get it.
Page 6.
so, right, yep, so we're in kind of
Well,
I-
top of page 6 under tax collector salaries and part-time. Do you want to?
I think that's about the timing of the part-time, there were 2 part-time people, and then one of the part-time became full-time halfway through the year, after last year's, town meeting. And so I think that's why it shifted, and now there are 2 full-time positions, and the $4,000 that's left in part-time is there in case it's sometime like, in case you need a substitute, like it's tax season and somebody's out sick, so you have to call that part-time person in to help.
Okay, get it.
Yep,
Health insurance and dental, same thing, town tax, so that looks like that's reflecting in the employment of a part-time person to a full-time person?
yep.
okay? NHRS,
New Hampshire retirement.
okay, all right, I get it. Want more people retiring? Jeez, that keeps going
So anytime, anytime you have a full-time employee,
up. More money goes into
It's
the
like-
retirement
It's like
fund.
workers' comp.
Yeah.
Okay. Data processing, software support, same thing. In 2023, it was, the actual was 20,000.
are you still on town clerk, where are we?
No,
Page-
no, page
page
7, data
7.
processing.
Our page 7.
Under the treasurer's.
I'm just trying to hit them because it's numbers that I
Yeah.
notice, and then if people are listening and they happen to notice,
Yeah.
they'll maybe get clarification of why these numbers jump around a little bit.
What was the question you asked?
Oh, the question was, how come that actuals were 20,000 in 2023, and then the budget for last year was 23,383, but the actual expenditure was 15,000 and change, and this year, you're budgeting for 27,3. Software support.
Yep, so that is, I might be wrong about this, is that the shift to the new server and the new,
We did have to buy some new hardware.
No,
training that was, but the
That's
training that we
separate.
got through all of it, I mean,
I saw hardware updates farther down,
Yeah,
updates.
yeah.
I'll check on this one, Mark, but I wanna say this is again one of those contracts that's halfway through the year, so
Okay.
that's why our actuals look under, but, I'm gonna double check that, is it right there?
We switched from one software producer to the other. We went to LRPC, but it took them, it was May, June before they started in and converted everybody over.
Right, right. And we do in hardware upgrades, that 12,000
Right,
is budgeted for a new server this year.
okay. And I'd even question that because I understand hardware upgrades and they're cheap. Internet services spectrum. That's right.
yeah.
$3,000, $3,500 upcharge. What's up with that, man? Because what do you guys use for phone and internet here? Just Spectrum, right? Do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have television here? Are you paying for basic television?
Well,
No,
no,
I'm just curious.
no, it is, I know the answer to this, cause I said every time it comes on for Netflix, I'm like, why are we paying for this? Because the way it's there on the TV because they bundle it in and they say,
Yes.
we're gonna give you this. In my own business, I just tried to take it off and they're like, well, we can take that $60 a month off, but then we're gonna bounce you up to the regular $200 a month. So yes, in effect we do, but that's what gets us a lower rate. But the internet, I mean, you have to use the internet all the time. They're on internet all the time in the tax
Well, and you
collector
gotta
office.
But are you paying for, are you guys using more than a gig a month? Yeah?
Probably.
Okay.
When it
I mean, it's
works.
But it's not about usage.
Well,
Yeah,
Fidium, when they come online,
Right.
gotta
Well,
have them
that'd
fight
be-
it out. I wanna see them out front with bats fighting each other.
Yeah.
Business.
We
But
all
it's
do.
not just this building.
The
I
coverage
understand-
price might
Well,
not be cheap.
I'm gonna get to that too, because I know it's not just this building.
But it is a question why we've
Yeah.
projected up three
Yeah, that's
grand.
like, yeah,
Because they just raised their rates.
that's when my wife gets on the phone and starts screaming.
Does she wanna come down here?
Oh,
We'll
I'm
plug
all
her right in.
about saying, hey man, what's
Yeah.
going on?
They just raised their bundle rates for internet and stuff by $20, I know that per month. so.
Well, that's a fair question, 3 grand's a lot.
Thank you for putting up with me so far, but can I keep going?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we're,
Okay, planning board,
yeah,
okay? Got that?
yep,
Printing, $7,000 this year.
yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's the,
They came in and explained that.
that's the, so the recommendation for master plan renewal
Yeah,
is every 10 years. We're at like 17 or 18 years since we last looked at it.
yeah,
And so one of the first steps in the master plan process is to get a survey out to ideally everybody in town.
Yep.
And part of that can be done digitally, but not all of it, so there's a big printing aspect involved in that. That's the big nut of it. So it's master
They didn't have a
plan.
good line to put their expense on, so it ended up,
In printing.
In printing,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a townwide.
So are they gonna print brand new maps, town maps also, since it's printing?
Well, we hadn't talked about that, but,
Because how old are those maps?
yeah.
Okay. Compliance, the compliance agent. So the compliance agent went from 12,000 to 3,000, almost 4, and then again, the proposed is 12,000. So what's up with that?
Yep,
Do we not have a compliance?
no, we
agent?
do, and so,
No, did we not for a period of time, is that why?
no, but he was getting started, so he didn't.
I remember that.
Very few
Yes,
hours
he,
last
he,
year.
very few hours, so his, agreement with us is based on X, like an estimation of X hours per month,
Yep,
and that's the estimated amount that he will be working, but, and we could look at whether we wanna keep that number of estimated hours per month in place.
Yeah,
Ed has expressed, he doesn't think he's gonna use that number of hours. He certainly
But we
didn't
don't-
last year, cause we were just starting,
We don't have a
so,
full year yet under,
under our belt to know.
so I think it'd be more, not that we wanna raise money that we don't need, but I think it'd be more accurate once we have a full
And
year.
it'd certainly be more than last year, but I'd be surprised if it was over 12.
Right.
They just had their first conditional use application under the groundwater protection district, so.
because,
But talk to Ed and see if that's a good number.
Yeah, I did. He said he didn't complete his training until June, so he feels like he hasn't really been able to get started yet. So I think you're right. Assess it
wait
after
a
a year.
bit, because my only thought is that, instead of trying to have proposed monies for a year where you don't think you're gonna use them, I just think it would look better if you said, look, we'd like to add to our expenditure funds, your rainy day fund. And just say, okay, let's take that money that we're asking for, we wanna have it in a rainy day fund. You don't like that?
You can't do rainy day funds.
Well, I'm
We have
not
a
calling,
contingency.
I'm not a contingency fund, I'm from the old school, rainy day fund,
It sounds like
All right,
Orphans and
so,
widows.
so.
Or
so-
we could cut it and we could up the select board pay.
Hey, yeah, right?
That's an opportunity.
Are you sure on you?
So can I just ask real quick, the compliance
That's a
agent,
question.
oh, go.
No, go ahead.
I just would like to know exactly what his responsibilities are.
He's our agent, and he works with the planning board on administering the groundwater protection ordinance and the floodplain ordinance.
Okay, I didn't know if it had anything to do with people maintaining properties, or if it had anything to do with, as far as having, like hazardous materials not properly stored on their property, or things like that.
If it's in the groundwater protection district, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
unfortunately, we don't have much control at all over the condition of people's property.
Right, I was just wondering
Yeah.
because,
But we've never had a compliant agent before.
Nope, we
No,
never had a
Started
groundwater
last-
protection ordinance
Started this
before.
past year.
so, to the phone system. You said that number includes other buildings. I see the townhouse is at 3660 proposed this year. Their actual last year was 3271. So, telephone and Wi-Fi. Does that building get that much use that number is justified?
You got me lost, where you even looking?
I'm on the
Townhouse. So that's a good question.
Government
Where
buildings.
is it?
Yeah, I've got the.
We're on
government
page,
building.
green,
Page 9,
page 9, townhouse, telephone, Wi-Fi.
That's-
They've got a phone number for people to contact to find out if they can use the townhouse.
They also have a hardwired line because they need it for their fire
For the-
alarm.
for
I was just
alarm
gonna ask
system.
that. Okay, And then you have Wi-Fi with it, but you call it both, but the Wi-Fi is nothing compared to a phone line for fire. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys.
It's all right.
Don't be sorry, this is good.
It's almost fun.
So,
You say almost done,
Yes,
almost
Becky.
fun.
Almost
We'll take a
fine.
I just
question.
have a question in the government buildings on the town office water and sewer.
Okay, wait 1 second,
can't
so
tell
we're
you
on
what
page
Top
9,
of
top of
page
page 9.
9.
Okay. I know the agreement was made for the building addition and they have their own sewer. Is the town still paying the water?
Oh,
the
that's a good
nurses.
question.
I don't know the answer.
I know we're paying liability, but are we still paying water as well?
When did we sign that contract? Who's got the memory?
Don't think I have it.
If it's not in this,
I don't think they put in their own well, so it must
No.
still be.
Yeah.
well,
So it must still
well,
be.
the question is though, are we paying for it or are they paying for it?
Mm.
And how would you split the bill?
Well,
Well, that's what,
don't they,
Wait,
they
so-
pay for their own sewer now though?
Yeah, we should look
Well, they
at
have
the,
their own sewer.
right.
Oh, because
They
they have their own
septic,
septic, that's
right,
right,
they have
that's
their
right,
own
that's
septic,
right.
So we
That
should
was
look at the
understood.
agreement and see what it says about water.
Well, if
Is-
our numbers haven't changed, I'm assuming we
We
are.
pay for it.
I have
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
But, again, they're having a lot more activities, they're having a lot more groups come in, they're having a lot,
Right.
Mhm.
So, okay, we'll look into that for sure. And do you guys, can I do us, or Jeremy, a favor, and could we skip ahead to the rec, budget? Just
Is
so
there
that
questions?
Jeremy can,
oh, that's where I saw his face before.
this is our new rec
Right.
director.
Sure.
Is that all right with you
Yeah.
guys? And then we can kind of jump back.
That'd be fine with me.
Yeah.
So our rec budget, you know, it was looking promising when Pete's told us all to make cuts and I was still the rec director. And I knew we were hiring Jeremy. We were going from a family health insurance plan down to a 2-person. So I was like, there's my cut, easy, done. But,
Page 14, green page 14.
But then Jeremy and I got hit with some news last week that, or 2 weeks ago now, that there's a charter school in Conway that I rented the vans from the last 2 years. That's how we did 6 weeks of swim lessons with one van, and then 2 weeks of Tamworth Summer Enrichment Program where I rented all 4 vans, and it worked great. The school approached me this year and said, are you guys still interested in renting vans this summer? Because we have another party interested in renting all 4 vans for all 8 weeks of summer. So Jeremy and I did some shopping around to see if we could find another vendor for vans that was, you know, cheaper, and the answer was no. We couldn't find anything. So we were pricing out what it would cost to rent all 4 vans for the whole summer. And, you know, it's quite a bit more. But with that is the benefit of, you know, we could do more programming with more vans this summer.
I
So
don't suppose we can rent out the extra vans to somebody else.
Somewhat.
I don't
Someone-
know that we could do that.
A lot of other stuff we can do.
Yeah,
Quick question to that. School bus companies,
so expensive.
Yeah.
really?
So expensive.
Okay,
Yeah, so part of
Yeah.
our summer was, we did 6 weeks of Friday field trips where every Friday we took 50 kids on the school bus and went to a different field trip, which was great. But it was like about anywhere from $600 to $800 a day to
Yeah.
get the school bus to take us wherever we wanted to go. So if we were to rent all 4 vans all summer, we could eliminate the bus
Yeah.
on Fridays, which is great. Because one day I was stuck where the bus was 2 hours late, and I had to. So I mean that's and the added
benefits,
right. There's some
so when
benefits.
you have
Yeah.
the fans, you have more freedom to go where you wanna go, when you wanna go. Who drives the vans?
You do have to. You would have yourself and 4 counselors or 3 counselors. The good thing is this school also uses Primex as an insurance company, and so to use the vans, it's just a really easy 1 hour online course that
Okay.
certifies you.
Okay.
You don't need your CDL or anything like that. So
And it also does open up, I was talking to Jeremy about this, and it opens up the possibility for more for the kid programming we've already talked about and got budgeted, but also for more adult programming. And maybe there are trips for adults, like let's go to the ocean, for people who can't or wouldn't drive themselves, to some hike destination or something like that. So it's another way. It's flower show. Yeah, that's an example I used.
Mentioned that one too.
I think that's in May though. We're not-
Yeah.
But it is an opportunity. It does open up potential for more planning, for more programming too, that would benefit more people. That's maybe not accounted for already in these numbers.
Big hit.
Well, so I was gonna say, you'll see there's a $20,000 increase from last year's budget, but with that is the price of the vans, and also Jeremy and I accounted for the extra gas and the staffing that it would take to kind of fund some more of these, hopefully free programs like hikes or beach trips or something.
Is that increasing on your new posted one versus the one that was on previously?
I think that was on the one previously too, so the
'Cause
total.
the only difference is it was budgeted at 139,143 last year, and it's budgeted for 149,011 this year.
Oh, I'm talking about the total culture and recreation, because some of that van price is also in the swim program busing.
Right, the question I have, and this reverts back to revenue, I was sort of surprised to see, I'll have to shoot back up to my revenue sheet, so I don't misquote here. I was sort of surprised to see the lack of revenue from the rec department, where you were taking all Friday trips and had a swim program. So, and because there's no revenue listed under revenue for the swim program.
Yeah, so,
And,
there's none under swim?
no.
Well, so
There's
that's.
like only 2,500 listed under the rec program revenue, so I'm confused.
Yeah,
You
so
might wanna look at it.
Page 3.
you remember the first year I started as rec director, I jumped in May, and it was kind of scramble and figure it out. And there was all this extra money in the budget to be doing these programs, and I don't think I quite understood how revenues and expenses worked for a department back then. And I thought it was just great to do free programming for the Tamworth residents. So I was not really in the mindset of how the department is supposed to be generating revenue. And I remember saying it last year at the budget hearing, and just really feeling like what we're doing in the summer, specifically for Tamworth residents with, working families who can't afford to take their kids to Storyland or can't afford to get their kids swim lessons. I mean, even if it was just $25 a week, when you have 4 kids and 6 weeks, it adds up. So I was keeping my fees super low. I mean, I charged $25 for 6 weeks of Friday field trips, that's it. We got a great turnout. I mean, the rec department was growing, but I do think we're at a place now, and Jeremy and I did talk about this, and I'm sure you have thoughts, but where I think we've established programming now where we can start kind of justifying, I don't know if you can do a sliding scale, like for the families who really can't afford it, fine. But for the families who can,
But
this is what it should
I
cost.
think what Becky's question is, if you look at, for instance, the first line, 3,401.7, it says 2024 actual 0, 2025 proposed 0. You brought in money from this rec
Well,
summer
that's what I'm
program,
saying,
and you
down-
brought in money, like you charged people for swimming lessons, so where's that money show up in this
Right, if
budget?
you go down to
Just
the
in,
the 3401.74.
yeah,
But
so,
it's only 2,700, and that's what I was questioning, because I know you had a big swim program, and the flyer said so much per student. I
Yeah.
realized it was a number of weeks, but I was surprised that number was so low for the actual revenue brought in of $2,760. It's got everything, swim program, rec program.
Sports,
everything.
everything else, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, I've never charged for sports. I've never done everything for rec, basically except for Friday field trips and swim lessons was
No charge.
Yeah.
no charge
Yeah.
this last year. Even TSEP, our 2 weeks of summer camp was free. I mean, and I don't know how, I mean, I guess this is a conversation, Jeremy, you'll have to have. with the board and kind of the vision for the rec department and what's reasonable and what to do.
Cause they used to be $10 for like sports or whatever, cause that covered their t-shirt or their whatever.
Right,
Mhm.
And if a family couldn't, there was quote scholarship money that would
Right.
cover that amount. So when I saw that, I was a little surprised.
so that's a
That was-
conversation we can have to
Yeah.
adjust that and do some estimation.
Because that would offset your
Yeah.
rise in costs
Yeah.
for your expense.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I also was not, and this will be hard, just a heads up, to parcel things out, that this is specifically for summer camp, this is for Friday field trips, this is for swim lessons, because you'll see families will just write a check or give you cash and on the day of, you know what I mean? It's like, you need to be able to write a receipt and keep it organized. That's why I ended up just categorizing it as rec revenue and not being able to parcel out what was for swim. And some families will write you a check saying this is for swim and for summer camp. So,
yeah, so we can, this is an easy thing to work on.
Yeah, going forward, I think it's a great question. If anybody has feedback they want to come talk about my office sometime, I'd love that. It's something I've actually been thinking about. So there's some ideas out there.
So I got a few questions
Yeah.
back on the budget.
Yeah.
We're good. Can you talk to me about the youth programs back on page 14? They went from $8,000 with 24 actuals to 14,300.
Page 14, our page 14.
Our page 14. And similar questions as you go down with the adult programs and the youth sports, the delta there.
I can chime in.
You're probably better to chime in on that. You came up with a base.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember when we talked about in the fall, the rec budget historically has been kind of, I don't know, it was like rec trips,
Oh,
summer
right,
trips,
right.
children, summer trip buses. It was very like nonsensical, so I renamed some lines. I worked with Elaine on that, so there's no issue in our system, but it makes it hard to see actuals.
Okay.
So that was probably like rec children's summer trips.
So
And
it's
now-
less a removal or an addition of new programs and more just a
Yeah.
reorganization of the funds?
So that's why youth sports goes from 11.5 down to 3
To 3,
something I
yeah.
cut out with my,
Yeah, pretty much those 4 lines. Yeah, from
Got
youth
rearranged.
sports, buses, adult programs, and youth programs were all like renamed lines.
Okay. And I think you'd already mentioned this, but the bus and parking under swim program, $11,000 is covering part of the buses and then
Yeah.
whatever parking passes need to happen.
Yeah.
Somebody else. Thank you.
Yes, Becky.
And staying on the rec department, the LP gas, did you change heating systems out there? Cause there's nothing budgeted for next year for LP gas and it was $755 last year.
Yeah, why is that a 0?
why is that 0?
I wonder
They're
if
gonna be cold.
Keats put that into government buildings. I will double check that.
There's definitely heat. There's definitely heat at the rec building there. Has to be for the.
Got a bathroom, so
Yeah.
yeah,
that would make sense.
Well, if it's the rec building, then did it get put under maintenance?
I didn't see it in
No.
government buildings.
it could be
that's why I
government
was asking.
buildings. Because
I think there was
things,
a new contract
government
for
buildings got
suppliers.
combined in this budget too.
Isn't it? I think there was a new propane contract or something, so maybe it's all lumped in there.
Yeah, the town, yeah, I'll double check that.
Cause I didn't see it listed out somewhere in the government buildings, which the other ones are.
Right. Okay, I'll double check that one, thanks.
Anything else on Parks and Recreation?
Not for me.
Well,
Thanks,
thank
Jeremy.
you for coming in tonight. Appreciate it.
Nice colored shirt, by the way.
He got the
I know, we got the yellow, we got this
Show up in the same
orange
place.
plaid,
Look at us two
guys.
right here. All
I
each
know.
other.
I didn't get the memo.
You got beards on the shirt, it's working. I like
No
it.
beards, yeah. Oh my God.
That's a fashion
You
statement.
guys are like middle schoolers,
Or worse.
or worse. Okay, where was that? LP gas, oh, there it is.
Okay, so if you'd like, we can hop back to page 3 of the warrant. We're on Article 6, which is just raising and appropriating $152,000 for the fire truck capital
Were
reserve.
you all done with general government?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I guess that's why we're asking.
Police department, near and dear to my heart.
What's the next one?
Oh, yeah, that's.
Oh,
public
that's a different
safety.
article. We're not there
Okay,
yet. We're still on number
okay,
5.
great.
And
Oh, yeah.
we're sure the property liability contract says what's in here, because last year I was guaranteed 3 times that yes, the correct number was there, and then we overspent that line, so,
That's 71,000?
yeah, the property liability. I asked 3 times, because I know it's paid in March, so I know they give you the,
I am 99% sure, but I will.
Double check it.
only
Triple
because
check
last
it.
year we were told, and then it got overspent, so.
What line are we on?
Where's it in, that's in, I'm looking at the article.
It's on the bottom of page 9, property and liability.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it flows weird in the budget, but
So, so we overspent from the, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
because it's a contractual price.
Right.
And it pays in May, and we were told last year, because I asked the same question, we were sure that's,
Yeah,
and then we
Yeah.
overspent.
yeah.
Well, and is that gonna increase because we just added the new property to it?
That's part, I'm doing the annual reporting for Primex right now, and they're walking me through how to add that, but she said she didn't think it would increase our premium, thank you.
Okay. But I mean, that's worth checking too, if you're checking the number,
Yeah.
just to be. Okay. So,
Okay. Anything else for general government?
okay, capital reserve. Number 6.
Okay, capital reserve, so 152,000 is going into the fire truck capital reserve. I believe this is part of the CIP process, right, folks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an easy one. Article 7 is the fire rescue department grant for, the radio replacements. This is like a joint, grant with Conway and Sandwich, but our office is the one processing the grant. So, that's why you see this thing. So only, it's $9,942 to be raised in taxation. Article 8
And
is,
just for clarification, but when you actually give your final total for your amount to be raised by taxes, a lot of that grant stuff is separated out, so that really when people see what needs to be raised from taxes, it's only the 9,942 that's been calculated in the raise
Right.
amount for taxes.
right,
Just
why
for
you'll see the-
clarification, because a lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand that, they see that
All the,
500,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's another explanation that happens at the beginning of the meeting that, and I didn't look to see if it happened everywhere, but I know we talked about having Emily like put in bold the numbers that we're working with, so that you see the big picture, but the bold is what's gonna come from either unassigned fund balance or taxation.
yeah. So you'll see, just for you guys, it might be so boring to you, but I find it interesting. So you'll see the radio replacement in the capital improvements for the full price, right? The $506,594. That's the expense. But on the revenue side, you'll see the portion coming from
Right.
the grants, and then the combined portion, there's the portion from the grant, and then the combined portions of what Sandwich and Conway are contributing in intergovernmental, contributions, so, yeah. Okay, moving on to article number 8, we're on page 3 of the warrant. This is the expendable trust fund. You folks decided to raise, instead of raising for a whole full-time police salary, I decided to put half of it into an expendable trust fund, so if we don't end up filling that position this year, you don't need to raise the whole salary again next year.
Year after year.
Yeah, year after year.
He's been putting a full year's salary for a police officer and hoping he can hire one. And then he can't, and it goes back into the unassigned fund balance, and so this hopefully will cut down on how much we raise every year. Of course, it'd be great if we could hire a police officer.
Yeah, that'd be great. So then Article 9 for public safety, and that will be the police department, the ambulance, fire department, forest fires, emergency management, and animal control. So if you guys have any questions or talk about those budgets, yeah.
Under the police, I know you explained it to me, but that total for requested salaries for full-time is for a full-time chief and a half year of a full-timer, because you're putting the other half in the reserve.
Right.
Same way with the health insurance, that's a full-time with a half-time in there.
Yep.
The salaries for part-time. We increased the part-timer last year, so is this based on the increase plus a 3% or just the increase? That was increased not too long ago for the part-time position. We increased the part-time wage, hourly wage, not too long ago. So is this reflective of the increase in the hourly rate or the increase in the hourly rate plus 3% raise?
That's a good question.
Doesn't look like 3% if you do the math.
I don't remember the prior increase, but there could have been one.
And the COLA was left to department heads, we'd have to look
Right,
back
that's-
on what they,
Well, that was the
That doesn't
question,
extend-
who's getting the COLA and who's not?
Yeah.
Because there was discussion about if people had been adjusted through the year, depending on when they were
Yeah.
adjusted, because there's been about 6 different positions that have been adjusted through the year
yeah,
or more.
yeah.
Which of those groups that have had adjustments in their hourly rate are also gonna get a 3% on top of that?
Maybe none of them.
Well, but I think there is, because some of this was calculated before.
And it's been,
died.
and it's been recalculated, I think. Anybody who's a recent hire doesn't get the COLA.
No, but I'm saying, like the animal control officer, about 3 months ago, you increased the rate of pay, the
Right.
hourly rate of pay.
Mhm.
Is that person now going to get a 3% on top
Oh,
of it?
right.
I'm asking, so we'll see. Let's skip on to the next question and come back to this one.
Well, it involves a number of departments, which we had talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So some, I mean, for instance, the highway
Got it.
they got an increase, no COLA, except for the road agent who didn't get an
Correct.
increase but got the COLA.
But you increased the number of department people
Yeah.
through the year.
Well, we need to confirm, we'll find out who all those are.
yeah,
And
I
if
know.
if those increases are recent, then they shouldn't have gotten a COLA.
Well,
So
there should be a policy.
Right. I mean, because you did transfer station, you did some transfer station employees, you did the
Yeah,
tax collector, you did animal control, you did the part-time police officer, you did highway,
so,
and some people have changed jobs. So
Yep.
you've got a good number of employees there. It's just a question whether the 3% COLA was discussed, who's
Understood.
getting it and who's not.
yep,
I should know this, but is Kevin Newberry our animal
Animal
control?
control.
So yes, 3%.
But he just got recently increased from $20 to $22 an hour too.
Oh,
last
I don't-
year.
20
No,
to 20.
It was this year,
Yeah,
not too long ago.
we need to confirm when anybody had an increase, when that was.
Yeah, and
I
Yeah.
just don't remember that.
I don't remember that number.
did Brian left rats?
I will say that all of these rate changes that we just processed before the first of the year,
Yep,
they all went to the employee for signatures. So I would think that if that was, I don't know.
I mean, I can go back through the minutes, they're all this year's minutes, on
Yeah.
the non-publics that says increase.
Yeah.
Then my
That'd be
second
helpful.
question is, looking at the revenue, most of our part-time person, a lot of the part-time person is used for detail work. Are we actually making enough revenue back to cover the detail payout? Because that's quite a big chunk.
That's a good question for the chief.
What do you think?
The remainder is only like $4,000 or $5,000 per month for revenue for detail projection.
Yeah, 4,000.
And if you increase the pay of the person that might take the detail,
Right.
I wonder if he's limited on what he can charge for details.
I think it's a set rate.
It's a set
it
rate.
is a set rate for car and person, but the town can set that rate for the detail.
Increased the detail rate this year, if I remember right.
Yep,
I
I
think he did
recall.
Yeah,
that,
we did.
he did last year, I think,
Mhm.
but then since then, you've now increased pay rate.
One doesn't necessarily affect it doesn't cause a difference.
Well, what I'm saying is just to look to make sure you're getting enough
Mhm.
back in to cover the pay that you're paying somebody out.
Getting close to an answer.
Okay, I have one then on page 11, office supplies under the fire department. It's at $2,000, 23 we use 161, 24 we budgeted 2,000 and used 35, we're still back at $2,000.
I don't know.
That was office supplies?
Yes. 422, 2,690.
Oh, right there. That is off.
Yeah.
I would think like 250 would probably be sufficient.
It would seem to be.
Well, let's,
I'm also curious if the $4,500 for dry hydrants is a replacement cost, and if we're actually gonna use that this year.
That dry hydrants. I know typically they do like one a year, and I'm not sure why they didn't do them in 23 or 24, but I know in the past they typically like, and I'm not sure if they just pay for like the parts, and then the landowner or whatever pays for the installation. But I know that like typically around town they've installed like one dry hydrant a year, like historically.
We missed a couple years, I guess.
But I'm not sure why, and I could be wrong, maybe it wasn't ever, that's just something that I had thought, but I don't know why it hasn't happened the last couple of years. Yes?
Education and training under them as well. 2023, we spent $1965, they budgeted $5,000 last year, we spent $644, and they're asking for $5,000.
what line is it? Oh, I see.
That's
Yep.
10,240.
Yep.
The other thing, and this is probably just simply answered by the fire department, but with the dry hydrants, I wonder if they budget in case like they need to replace one that's already in, if one malfunctions, I'm not sure if that's a thing or not.
Just got a running, yeah.
Well, if we have the,
Probably be very easily answered by the fire
Yeah.
department.
we could use
I'm seeing if we can get answers on
The
that.
trust fund for
the
that.
trust fund.
Okay.
Dana says these were COLA increases, and it is for the animal control, part-time officers, Pete Beatty, and the sergeant.
But are they getting the COLA as well?
Though, that is COLA only, not hourly increase.
They had
For this
hourly
year.
increases though this past year.
When?
Okay,
We should-
hang on.
We should
Thank
look up and see
you.
what it was.
Because
I can
if it
go
was-
through and pull they're in the non-public minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I can go back and check out which one, because it sort of surprised me that we were increasing people through the middle of the year.
Right, so, and I mean, if I understood our requirements of eligible for the COLA increase was you had received your, like, you hadn't received an increase in the last 6 months. So for example, if you got a $1 raise at the beginning of 2024,
You still could get the COLA at the end of the year.
you still were eligible for the COLA.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear, so I can go back and look,
Mhm.
because some
Yeah.
of them were more recent than
We
others,
thought-
so
Yeah.
it's
I think
6 months.
I think it was 6 months, so
Okay.
if you're.
That wasn't
yeah.
made clear anywhere, it was just, there was a discussion, and I never heard the cutoff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Fire
Oh,
department?
there's a chat.
Well,
This is police department,
This
but
was
we're in
police,
the.
waiting on-
I'm
We're doing
just
both at the
waiting
same
on
time.
answers from him.
Okay. And
He's saying, you can go back and look, but he's saying in 2024, there were no pay increases, just the COLA.
I'm not saying 2020, yes, I am,
Yeah,
okay.
you are.
I'll go back,
So,
I'll go back through the non-public minutes and see what
Okay.
it was, because it's
well, let us
surprised
know.
me. I will,
Yeah.
I'll send Emily a note,
Okay.
but now that I know the 6 months, that's what I wanted to know.
Oops, sorry, did I say that?
So that $66,000 that you want to put aside for the hiring of a full-time police officer, is that encompassed in the number for the total police department proposed for this year? 'Cause
no, that's a
That's a separate-
separate warrant article.
okay, because I'm just looking and it's almost a $100,000 increase from last year for proposed this year. And I'm trying to find it and I just,
That's half of an officer this year, in the line
Right.
item,
half of an officer?
and then half is going into a capital reserve.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if the capital reserve number was part of this
No,
proposal.
totally.
No, but instead of
Okay,
doing
I
the
get it.
whole thing,
Okay,
yeah,
I get it, thank
Yeah.
you.
So Bruno, I'm assuming, is it your wife that's on Zoom? Cause it's showing up as Bruno, but there's a question here.
My wife doing it.
I can't see what it says
She's
because
on
of
it.
the,
Oh, she's on it.
Okay,
Why did they get a
so
3%
she
COLA
says,
raise?
why did they get a 3% COLA raise when COLA was less than that? The cost of living increase was 3% this year.
Yeah,
Correct?
that's what we voted.
yeah.
That's what we determined
Right.
as
yeah,
our cost of living would be.
We based on the 3 different indices, averaged it out, and looked at the one that New Hampshire Municipal or whoever it was recommended was most appropriate for, like, most impacted
Okay.
the average person. I can't remember what those 3 things are called,
the
without
indexes.
looking it up. The indices, yeah.
Consumer, something consumer index.
Yeah, the consumer or something, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if now is a good time for you guys to discuss this, but as far as the police budget goes, this budget reflects the chief's request to be moved to an hourly position. And I think we would need a motion for that to happen.
Where is, what page is it?
Excuse me,
Yes.
to that, why does he want to do that? That's management position.
Yeah, and in a perfect world it would be, but because we have less than another full-time officer, he ends up doing,
Overtime,
And his overtime is capped.
but he also ends up doing, like, the work that he's doing, and we reviewed whatever the statute is that describes the administrative task versus the non-administrative task, and the kind of work that he has to do, because there's no one else in the department at this time, pulls him under that administrative hourly breakout, that percentage of administrative work.
so what if a new officer is hired? Because see, my issue's this. How much overtime is he allowed to work? How many hours over 40 is he allowed to work? Because now it becomes a safety concern.
Yep,
Right. Right now, he's capped at 8, I believe.
8 hours overtime a week?
I believe that's correct. Overboard.
But if you move to hourly, there is no cap.
We could
So then
establish,
what-
we could establish a cap. Maybe
So then, it leads to hours worked beyond a healthy,
yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good point.
oh, very good point.
And I don't believe you can cap overtime hours on an hourly employee, I think it's
No.
against federal law.
Right.
No, because, but then that leads to people working because they want that time and a half, they want that holiday, double time and a half. you know, and believe me, I've seen it, I've dealt with it.
And it increases your New Hampshire retirement contribution.
So it
Because
can
based on your
be, so the
overtime.
thing is, it can be very expensive for the town for one thing, but it can be very unhealthy for the officer. And you know what, I understand, if somebody's there and he's doing this work, and he's doing more work because there's less bodies there, gotta be a way to, distribute work that other people can do that aren't in a law enforcement capacity, and let them
Yeah.
do that. You know? I don't know exactly, what the officer does, it's a big town, there's a lot of aged people in this town.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's, doing call-outs in the middle of the night because somebody's sick, or old, or wants you to talk to, I don't know, but it's just,
We get a monthly report listing what all he's
Yeah.
doing each year. I mean, how many are, home visits,
yeah.
that sort of thing, so.
Usually the fire department gets saddled with those more than the police.
Yeah, if it's work he can pass on, I don't, absolutely do not want anybody stiffed,
Right.
out there working and not getting paid because they feel they have an obligation to do the job. And, like you say, the fire department, I don't know how it works with the county, or the state police, I don't know if they can come in and do things that are, hours that are beyond the capacity of any officer
Yeah.
to do. Because of
And
time.
those are all good points, and we've asked those same questions, and the problem is that the whole state, including Troop B,
I
including
understand
the
the
sheriff's
shortages.
department, there's shortages all around, so this seemed like the fairest. My impression from all of these conversations we've had with Chief Littlefield is absolutely not that he's searching for any more hours,
No.
but that the compensation should be fair. And you bring up the point about what if we hire that other full-time person, so we've got more coverage,
We could switch
and
it.
then we revert back to his admin position. So this is a temporary way of addressing an untenable situation.
Why is he capped as a salaried employee? What was his overtime last year? Who sets the cap? Is that a New Hampshire state regulation, or is it the town?
That's a good question.
Because I don't know what his
No,
overtime,
we just didn't,
I
discussed
remember
it
that
with
from a
contract.
couple years ago,
We-
he requested overtime.
we determined the cap.
I never did either. I was salaried, and I didn't get overtime, ever. And I had a lot of guys and women too, a lot of people on me.
And I hear you, cause I'm salaried and I go above and, like, that's
Yeah.
part of it. But we come back to the conversation we had earlier tonight, which is, we're a small town in a poor region, and we're a poor town in a lot of ways, that has quite a good standard of living for, for what we can support. But we're not exactly enticing when it comes to being a place where people are clamoring to work because of our pay and benefits. You can go to towns around us and get paid more and have a less taxing duty in some ways. So part of all these decisions we make have to balance off the impact on the taxpayers financially in raising the money we spend versus the impact on the taxpayers if we don't have a capable staff in any department. And if Chief Littlefield were to go somewhere else because he could make more money, which he hasn't seemed inclined to do yet, but if he were to go somewhere else because he could make more money and work fewer hours, I think we'd be in a real bind, given the law enforcement shortage that the region has, to find, we wouldn't have a police department. And I know that there are some that think that that's a great idea, to have outside sources police us, but I think that when you have people who know the townspeople, and you know their needs, and you see the patterns, you can be preventative, and that ends up costing us less money and providing a better quality of life. So I hear you that it's a lot of money, that we're spending on people to support them in doing the job for the town. And I know it's a trade-off, but I think that the trade-off of not having these people who are committed to Tamworth is worse for Tamworth people. And I think that the taxes that we pay now to support these systems are less than what we're gonna end up paying if people step away from these roles. People are doing a good job now, you know?
And I'm with you.
Yeah,
I just think, you know, he should be able to be, he's the quarterback.
yeah,
And he should be asking for help if he needs it. Whether it's from, like I said, other, you know, like the fire department or other agencies that are close by,
Yeah.
where he could say, okay, guys, I need you, you know, can you work with us, can you, and, you know, he's the chief,
yeah,
but he could just ask for coverage, assistance with coverage, just something that, you know, I'm not gonna tell you what to do on
Yeah.
it, I'm just thinking that it just would be better, just from my own standpoint, better for the chief, so he can sleep at night, or whenever he likes to sleep, knowing that he has other people,
yeah,
minions, helping him out, and he doesn't have to all the time. Because if he's gonna do it the other way, then he's gonna be on all the time.
yeah.
Emily, do you have the numbers of the delta between the current salary budget and what it is with the new proposal?
For the chief's salary?
Correct, if we did, you said these numbers reflect the adjustment, assuming we pass that.
I can tell you, because I believe his new salary, and again, this happened in the fall when I wasn't here, but I believe it was a 7% increase that he budgeted for his salary. So 87,988 times 1.7%. So it would be 94,147.
He was,
Position probably, I don't know.
Yes, Bruno?
he wasn't always hourly, correct?
No,
Yeah.
and he's still salary, we allowed him to work 8 hours of overtime over his salaried position per week, right? Per week,
No,
per
we-
pay period.
We just put him on hourly.
No, we didn't vote for
Oh,
it.
we didn't vote
We
for it?
discussed it, never got voted on.
Oh, okay, all right,
So,
I'm sorry.
He's allowed 8 hours a week.
Okay.
whose advantage is going from hourly to salary? His or the town's?
Salary to hourly. Salary
Correct.
to hourly.
Correct. So to whose advantage was it? Him or the town?
I'm not answering.
I mean,
Well, he would make more money, but we keep a good chief, so it's to everybody's benefit, in my opinion.
which leads me to my next question. Have you guys considered selling, no, I shouldn't say the word selling, but going to the sheriff's department? Some of the towns have coverage by from the sheriff's department. Wouldn't that be financially to our advantage?
Well, that was
That
what,
is a big conversation for a
Well,
Yeah,
different
it's
time.
about the budget.
okay,
Yeah.
so right now, you've got one guy working, right, a chief. If the sheriff's department took over, there'll be a number of employees. So wouldn't that be advantage to us?
Not the Tamworth.
Well, that decision was made a few years ago that we're having our own police department. That decision was made.
Why can't it change?
It could. You can go to
Thank you.
town meeting and put an article in if you want.
Thank you.
So if he wanted, because 48 hours a week isn't crazy hours,
Right.
up his availability of hours, and because he should get paid for if he's got work to do to get work. Give him another 8. If he wants another 8, give him another 8, but I think anybody working over that
Right.
is just,
too much.
no, it's no.
Yeah,
Especially in that position.
You can't work that many hours in a week.
I beg to
Safely.
differ, but.
Well, you know what, you're right, but the thing is,
Little different.
when you're in law enforcement, and you know, but listen, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Nice try.
You plow in the winter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had it easy this winter.
it's not over yet.
I know that.
I know, March and April.
I hope it's not over yet.
It was doing something
Yes,
out
but-
there right now.
But you know, I mean,
I see where you're, I think we,
I want to be fair to everybody.
So just because we can't answer these questions right now.
Yeah, I understand.
But I mean, we're all making notes about it, so at the budget hearing, when we go, get to this warrant article, again, going through the process we
Yeah.
said we use, then hopefully we'll have answers to address this.
All right.
yes, Becky?
Did I just hear right that your other employees got a 3% and the chief is getting a 7%?
What's been budgeted?
Did is it a pay increase of 7% or is it a budget, full-time line item increase of 7% because he's gonna get more hours?
It's because he's gonna get more out, because he's switching to hourly.
Because he's figuring more hours.
So is that,
Is
so,
that what I'm, is,
No,
am I
that's
right in
right.
saying that?
so the anticipation, that's based on, right now he's working X number of hours and not being compensated for them because he's salaried. So if he goes to hourly, he would be compensated for what he's doing. So it ends up being that 7% increase.
I have to correct that. So
Okay,
Yeah,
do correct it.
when I
Do
was
correct it.
handed this budget, his salary was increased with a 7% increase.
Okay,
Then he requested to go hourly. Steve asked what the budget implications were, and the answer is it increases your overtime line, your holiday buyout, and your New Hampshire retirement. So, while we cut half a salary out of the police officer's budget in attempt to cut the budget, you'll notice the bottom line is the same as last year, because with his increase and going hourly, it pretty much brings it back up to even.
So I bring it back that he's receiving a 7% increase when the rest of your employees are receiving a 3%.
And that's what, I mean, as we discussed before, department heads are allowed to request their increases when they're presenting the budget to you folks in the fall. The select board gets to, approve or deny it, negotiate. So this is still up for discussion. Ultimately, it still goes to the budget hearing and gets voted on by the town, but
But I think you ought to make that known because everything discussed has said the COLA for employees at 3%. He's an employee, so you're
And
gonna
it's not a
have to.
COLA.
Right. So,
yeah,
It wasn't a
but
COLA.
some people,
I know, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, get it.
it would be great if it could be so easy just to have across the board everything, but almost every employee is different because of 1,000 different reasons. Well,
One other thing, Emily, on the full-time, the FTM holiday buyout, expenditures year-to-date for this last year say 0.
yeah, I don't think, because as the chief as a,
Don't you have part-time benefits now though for employees? And that was approved a while back. So nobody had.
I don't think the chief was eligible to do the buyout when he's as a salaried employee, but as an hourly, he would be.
No, you had hourly employees that you gave benefits to, which I don't know if it was sick or what that you gave them.
Oh, we're talking about the holiday buyout?
Yes, so your part-timer didn't have any holiday buyout?
I don't believe she worked any holidays.
No, the buyout, okay, I don't know what your plan is now. It used to be that the police department would take they had 2 holidays that they would take off, and they were paid at the end of the year for like 7 holidays or something, is what the personnel manual used to be, which was the holiday buyout stipend.
I'm not even familiar with that phrase, holiday buyout, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the policy, but I mean, I pulled these actuals from our reports.
I don't know, it's not in your personnel policy anymore, but
Okay.
it came from his policy, that's how they were doing it.
Okay,
They were eligible to take as many holidays as they wanted, but if they didn't, it was 2 major holidays, and then the town paid them for the rest of the holidays.
okay,
Because most police officers work on holidays.
right.
Emily, do we have a discussion about this particular topic before the budget hearings? It sounds like there's a lot more to litigate and it affects the budget quite a bit.
Yep, I think you folks have some decisions to make.
It needs to be decided today.
No,
This is the
but,
last- Unless we meet in a week,
Right.
because otherwise.
yeah. I mean, it sounds like, there are a lot of questions coming up that are all fair points. There's some research that has to be done. And it'll be cleaner if we can meet before this, have these conversations, get an adjusted final copy of the budget for the budget hearing. So I think we have to meet next week.
I agree.
I agree.
Tuesday's a bad night.
Tough luck.
Can we meet Monday?
Next week is the budget hearing,
Yeah, I want,
Wednesday, right?
yep,
Or we have to make a
Wednesday and
decision.
possibly Thursday, it says.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
know,
all.
right?
And Tuesday is the school,
Thursday's the school.
Thursday.
Thursday's the school, that's right, sorry.
I mean, we can't meet tomorrow because I don't have enough time to notice it. I have traffic safety meeting on Thursday.
Monday night special with this?
Monday night?
Ed can correct me, but if it's an emergent meeting that's needed,
We're gonna post it.
Depends on what the emergency.
well, but it can be posted as an emergency meeting to
Monday the
discuss the
3rd.
budget.
If you read the statute, it has to be specific.
That's what I'm
Emergency.
saying.
It can't be.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, we've
Well, I
got,
said you'd correct me, I didn't.
but if we have it on Monday, that's
plenty
plenty,
of time.
that's plenty of time for noticing.
We're talking about tomorrow, I think.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh, I see. Can we do Monday? 5 o'clock?
I will be out of
Was it
state.
24 hours to notice? Because we could do it at like 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yeah, if we can do it
Just
this week,
kidding.
that'd be better.
Post it right here. Post it
I
right
will
here.
not be,
Yeah, get posted.
You alright with us doing that? Do you want us to have it before you leave?
knock yourself out. I'm leaving tomorrow morning, so,
Oh, okay, well, we're gonna have it without you.
good.
When are we having it?
So Monday
Okay.
at 5.
Monday at 5. It's gonna be here at the library.
It's supposed to be. at
No,
2.
this is just another, more of this conversation, not the
Oh,
hearings.
okay, all
The
right.
hearings then on Wednesday, the
Monday at
official
5.
hearing. Monday at 5, we're gonna come back with, hopefully come back with answers to all these questions.
Good idea.
Tuesday, I got something going on.
And then Wednesday, what time's the budget hearing?
5.
It is at 5?
Mhm.
Yeah, great. Okay. Let's keep chewing on this.
Hey,
Article 10.
more fun. Okay, Article 10, this is the 65,000 for the highway truck,
I don't wanna, is it trade in fire?
purchase of a highway truck. Okay,
That was
questions
from
on
the
that?
unassigned fund
Yeah.
balance.
Article 11 is $350,000 for the Depot Bridge repair, Depot Road Bridge. 268,000 is coming from the reserve fund, and 82,000 is gonna come from the unassigned fund balance. Article 12 is Public Works, which is highway, street lights, landfill monitoring, and the transfer station.
Depot Road Bridge is the one by Glenn's house?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, sorry, did I move too fast?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm good now.
Okay. So any questions on the public works budgets?
One thing to think about, about which dollars should be bolded. Maybe it should only be that which is raised through taxation, so that people will focus on that, and I don't know if I'd want to
Oh,
bold
not the
anything.
unassigned fund balance
Yeah.
ones, you mean?
Even though that's taxpayers' money, but
Maybe bold italics for unassigned fund balance?
sure.
I
Get a
know.
little detail.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand, break it up somehow, I'm sorry just to butt in, but, you know, just to make it less confusing, frankly.
I like the new money.
You know who that is?
Highway, streets, landfill,
Oh, okay, yeah.
transfer
His
station.
grandfather was a road agent. He was saying, in the early 60s, the highway budget was like $1,700.
I mean, and I will say, this year, if you're looking at highway actuals, we came in pretty close to, what was budgeted, other than vehicle fuel. His actuals were pretty close to what was budgeted, so.
Yes. Becky, did you have a question?
That's what I call
Well,
it,
only
tight shit.
because, the actuals for salt and sand was 89,300 last year, and he's only budgeting 7,500, isn't that cutting that a little?
Maybe he had stockpiled enough sand, because I know he has
think
bought a
that's what
bunch
he
of
said.
Well,
header.
the problem is you're covering 2 years, you have to, you only get like 2 months of 1 year, and then you're into the new budget again.
I would assume.
I just think that, I mean, he's dropped that almost $14.
Didn't we
That's
ask
a
him to
little-
drop that?
So
Yeah, we did.
We won't have to purchase it next year.
Yeah.
We'll be looking
Oh,
at
you
the
know what, we
season.
encumbered though a bunch of money to buy
And
Last thing.
aggregates.
we did, and now he's lost it because he used it. So we have to
Okay,
encumber funds
okay.
in December, right? And,
Right.
but we're not actually done spending until January
Okay, as
1st.
long as that's enough, because
Okay.
that's quite the drop in
Mhm.
salt and sand.
So, right, we don't have those encumbrances anymore.
I feel
So,
pretty confident that if that's,
Yeah.
He'll find
yeah, he's-
sand.
yeah, I mean, he's probably good enough sand there for a couple of years anyway.
He's
so.
got, yeah, that huge pile of
Massive
sand,
pile.
and he's been buying it from Coleman's.
Well,
Well, we did say that, use some of what you've got
Yeah,
and
He said it was-
cut the line item,
yeah.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions on Public Works?
My dad did tell me one time when your grandfather was budgeting on that, back in those days.
So moving on to Article 13, which is Health and Welfare, 31,726.
Did we pass emergency, did we pass
Which one?
emergency management already?
We did as part of Public Safety.
I just have a question on that.
Yep.
Because in 2024, there was 7,000 something for the hazardous fumigation.
Yep.
And I couldn't find it in the income.
It was miscellaneous revenue.
Okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
because I knew it was split there, that you got it in two different. Okay, I'll find it. Thank you.
Sure.
Under health,
Yeah,
general assistance. I'm just curious why,
So 10,000.
it was 15 last year, 16, call it, and then this year they're asking for 25.
What page was that on?
Just
14.
curious.
But it's 5,000 less than what's budgeted in 24.
4,000 less than 23.
That's a big ask from an actual to a proposed.
How,
yeah, and so we're looking at, that to that. I think that, if I'm remembering correctly, the conversation we had about that, Mark, was that, that this was Paul's first year as our welfare administrator. And, this was another one of those first year, like, is he available enough? Is he making enough connections? We're just waiting to see all of that kind of thing, because the past year's trajectory, even in 2022 and 2021, were all on this upward increase. And so this dip could be, I mean, it'd be great if it were a dip going down. We didn't have the expenditures for housing that we had in the past couple of years, which was great, where we're legally obligated to put people who are unsheltered up in a motel, and we have to pay whatever cost the motel charges. That killed us last year and the year before, and we haven't had that yet this year.
Yep,
But we know that the homeless situation is increasing in Carroll County, and like we're one step away from
I get it.
tanking that budget with one person who's unhoused and needs to be put up in a motel. So I think that's why we kept it at at a similar, we brought it down a little bit, but kept it at that similar level.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works. The town is responsible for it.
Yeah.
Your last known address, so if,
So like just one body or more or family?
however many
whatever.
it
If
is,
anybody comes here and meets the qualifications, the town is required to assist them.
yeah.
Now, what if there's more than one?
If
Doesn't
it's
Doesn't matter.
1,000, if they are residents, they're required to
If
assist.
they're residents?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
But I mean, their last known residence could have been if they lived at White Lake State Park last summer and they had a mailbox, that, it's how the state tracks,
Yep.
ensures that people don't get completely ignored. Yeah,
Thank you.
If anybody comes into the town,
Yes.
it's not just residents,
Mhm.
so you know
It's anybody.
It's if
Well,
their last known domicile.
Right, but you
yeah.
couldn't come and get fuel assistance unless you're a resident. You'd have to have a house with a fuel system, so.
Okay, so that is included in general assistance.
Fuel assistance, electrical bills.
Okay, all right,
I'd say a lot of it is fuel and electrical, a lot of that.
yeah, yeah. I get it, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for health and welfare?
Number we are on, 13.
All right, we already kind of covered culture and recreation, unless you have any specific questions on those. And we can move on to the Conservation Commission, which is Article 15.
Big bump there is engineering, for the fire tower, that's why that $5,000 is there.
I wanted to ask about that, just out of curiosity, I had a feeling, but
Yeah.
we blew past the library.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. That's part of culture and recreation.
Okay,
Is
big,
it?
big ask there for this year too.
Where's the library warrant article?
Oh, I'm
Just about
sorry.
conservation.
Nope, I'm sorry, it's not part of culture and recreation.
It is total, it's under,
I know, but it's a different, the library's gonna have, on the next page, we've got a bunch of warrant articles for the library separate.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, you guys,
Let's come,
thank you.
yeah, let's come back to that.
Okay, so Conservation Commission, you're saying the fire tower?
I'm just saying the big nut on the Conservation Commission that bumped their bottom line up is the engineering study of the fire tower, which is whatever, 125 years old or 100 and some odd
old,
years old.
doesn't
It's
matter.
old, yeah.
Are they gonna rebuild it for us too for that money?
No, it's just an engineering assessment.
Yeah,
Those engineers,
I was in the wrong business.
I know,
yeah.
me too.
Okay, the next in the warrant articles is 16, which is the sewer commission, 26,000. That is funded by
The
the
rate.
fees,
Their fees.
so there's no
Yeah.
tax impact there.
So Emily,
It's
in
dead price on
this
it.
budget, it shows that that's 15 of the warrant articles on the green page.
Oh,
Where, I was gonna say, where is the sewer?
And the Conservation Commission says it's 16, when it should be 15.
Good job.
thank you, Steve.
I'm at the here.
Wait, so sewer was what?
Oh, okay.
It's marked as 15, but it should be 16.
Where is sewer on the green pages?
It's on page 17.
Oh. Oh, so sewer should be 16.
See, I
Got
didn't
it.
see that column. Okay.
Okay.
So then there's three warrant articles for the library.
And then the okay, now we're at the library, Mark.
Okay.
Okay,
17, 18, and 19.
Okay, so article number 17 is the exterior painting of the library. This is raised by taxation, just so you're aware. And this kind of verse about being non-lapsing means that if the work doesn't get done this year, this warrant article extends into the following year. So they have until December 31st, 2026 to complete that project.
Yeah.
That was a thing.
Well, isn't that, I mean, so they don't have to go through the encumbering process if they don't, if they can't get a contract because there aren't,
It's the same as the transfer station, it's a
Yeah.
non-lapsing project.
yeah,
I just never heard that phrase, non-lapsing.
yeah.
And they have, some, part of the building is old with lead paint,
Uh-huh.
so it's gonna be.
That didn't get taken
Take a
care of
while.
in the original renovation, the lead paint?
No, I mean, no, like the front of that old part, when they scrape it.
Once you scrape it, you're into the old lead stone.
Yeah.
I guess.
Unless
So-
you strip it down to wood.
The
Okay.
next article, number 18, is the rooftop solar project for Cook Memorial Library. And I'm realizing now that the language in this article, so it's supposed to come from a solar grant. Normally when we put language about receiving a grant in a warrant article, we say if the grant is not received, this article is null and void. I don't think this has that language in there now that I'm reading it.
No.
It does not.
Because it says it's a non-lapsing.
And maybe it means they already got it. That's the only reason you wouldn't put that there.
Okay.
So it's worth checking.
I don't think they just.
I thought last time they hadn't gotten it,
Yeah.
Okay.
but that changes.
And then Article 19 is the general library operating budget, so 312,943 is the total budget, 45,842 to come from the library fund, 13,057 to come from donations, 1,400 library fees, 15,900 to come from grants, and 236,744 to be raised by taxation.
So, using our pattern, you should unbold the 312,943.
Okay.
But leave the 236,744 in
Yeah.
bold.
Right,
Yeah.
I don't like that number.
That's a big number.
you don't like that number.
No.
Well, it's an increase, it's a big.
It's an increase, but, you know, the thing is, it's an increase of $100,000, am I reading it right? Because last year's actuals on the library was 217, they want 312, so,
No, they want 236.
But their budget
Yep.
increases.
but the budget increase from last year to
Yeah.
this year, that's my issue. Because what are they gonna do that's worth $100,000 more?
And nobody in this room can explain the library budget, so we need to have the library.
Yeah,
Director
that's
at
a
the
lot of money,
budget
you
hearing.
know?
Yeah, we
And
understand.
listen, love the library and
And let's not waste our time talking about something we can't answer.
great,
But
perfect,
we'll have, make sure,
yeah.
who's the,
I am.
no, I know that. Who's the, head of the Friends?
Oh,
Chair of the-
Friends? I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's been rotating.
Okay, so Mary has to make sure she's at the budget hearing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, next, 78,000 for the installation of the electric vehicle chargers in the town office parking lot. This is grant funded, 15,600 is coming from the Tamworth Foundation, 62,400 is coming from a New Hampshire DOT grant. If the grant does not receive, this warrant article shall be null and void.
I have a question about that board. I know I missed a couple of meetings, and maybe I missed this meeting when this was decided. The last conversation I recall about the EV chargers talked about 2 parking spots,
Mhm.
and now it's at 4, and,
Yep,
my.
I can answer it.
Yep, let me ask my question first. My question is, so I'm pulling into, I don't have a electric vehicle, I pull into the parking lot on market day, and there are 3 slots empty, they're EV slots. Fair to use those slots? Or are those 4 slots now off the market for regular
That'll be a
use?
question for the energy committee, I'm not sure.
Okay, because my concern for 4 versus 2 is that we know downtown is kind of a mess for parking and traffic, and that's a lot of real estate,
Yep, understood.
yeah.
I know where
The
I'm
plan, the
Yeah.
plan was for
Cross all
2,
4.
the state of New Hampshire required it to be 4.
There's no parking spots.
Rich, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah, try and force it out.
Is it gonna be, it's gonna be billed, right? So like when somebody wants to charge their EV,
Yep,
Here.
and we set the rate.
okay, I was just curious about that, yeah,
And we should set the rate to cover whatever costs there are.
right. So it'd be no cost to the town, it'll just be,
Yeah.
yeah,
And who knows, they may not get the grant, and the federal government may cease all these kind of grants anyway. So
Okay,
it's unclear if the grant's gonna happen, even though the award email came through a couple of weeks ago, we still don't know if it's really gonna happen.
right, yeah, I get it.
So,
And the conduit, I think, has been laid, and it would be in the far right-hand back
So I
of
was
the
gonna
park.
say, I thought
Yeah.
they'd put the
Yeah.
conduit in our.
I mean, I'm just, and maybe this is let's have the Energy Commission represented at the budget hearing too, only because we could get that grant, and I'm not 100% sure I'm
Mhm.
comfortable with 4 slots.
Yeah.
Two was
Yep.
pushing it for me too.
Okay if we maybe have to park in one.
Well, I mean, I think that's it, as long as, and then what is that?
I think what I've seen in
Exactly.
places like airports where you see them, it's to try to encourage people to use those last. If everything's full and that's all that's left, I'm parking there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as
Yeah.
far as parking goes, wouldn't you need a town ordinance that makes it a violation to park in there anyways?
Yeah, I'm just,
So-
and I don't know, because we haven't had this full
Right.
conversation, and I'm just being sure because,
No, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
There's always, as we found, grant requirements that we don't like.
Right, yep.
Oh, I wonder if that could be a grant requirement. Interesting.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Alright, Article 21, which is the contingency fund, that, as we know, that's 1% of the budget, less capital improvements and voted from the fund balance. Article 22, so this is the start of our petition warrant articles. I don't think we need to run through all of them, you guys know.
So Emily, on this warrant,
Yep,
with the changes you had to make
yep.
that reflects the contingency is reflected on that 1% now?
Ooh, good call. No, I'll recalculate that. Thank you, Becky.
Well, it may change again depending on what you guys decide
Yep.
to do with the police department.
Yeah.
You don't have any citizen petitions yet?
When are they due?
I
Oh,
was gonna,
4th,
What's that, a citizen position?
that's
Yeah,
it.
10 citizens get together and petition anything they want.
Well, like
Get it on
Keno
the
last year was the
Keno,
kind of
yeah.
big one.
Oh, yeah, nothing that's non-monetary, no.
Had any come in?
Yeah, just our petition warrant.
Yeah, they have to be submitted by the same
Same
money
date.
article
Yeah.
petitions.
Right.
We have a
Yeah, but that's the
calendar.
4th,
I go to Conway for that.
yeah. I was just asking if any bit had come in yet.
Nope, nothing,
We still have 3 days.
I know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Good
nothing outside of what's in here already.
Wow, so just to recap, no one put a petition warrant on?
Not yet.
Still time.
Not a
Sounds out a lot.
Not a non-money article.
So, I'm sorry, am I understanding this right? Other than like the 12 that we received that have been coming to do
I
requests.
No,
bring you a
so there's
petition
12.
warrant article before February 3rd saying, we, the undersigned, want to have a municipal budget committee formed.
Right, no,
Yeah,
no.
it says by petition, you have them.
These are all nonprofits. These
They're
are
all,
Asking
they're all
Yeah, yeah.
money.
citizens.
no
We're
different.
talking about non-money
No, I mean,
ones,
the
like
rules are the
somebody that
same.
needs a vote.
But we haven't had
Yeah.
any citizens come up and say they wanted this or
A
that.
boat?
Is that what you said?
I said a
Somebody needs a
vote.
vote.
I need a vote.
So, this
Okay.
was good, a good one for me.
Good practice.
Thank you, I
Thank
feel
you.
better going into the
Thank you
budget.
for answering all my questions.
Well, not all of them yet, but
You're close,
Next week,
yeah,
you're close.
Monday.
next Monday,
Can I
We
just,
just skip the
Well, you
rest of
still
the
gonna do Wednesday? I mean, Monday might work for me better, but Tuesday,
meeting. No, so
no, Monday
Wednesday's
we're having a
still
meeting.
it
the,
all next week?
Wednesday's still the, budget
Official
hearing.
hearing.
Monday is just a select board meeting to try to
okay, that's
answer
right, so
some.
I can, maybe we'll get answers on whatever,
yeah,
Yeah.
and we gotta get it straight.
See if anyone get mad.
Becky.
I just wanna make a public comment before I leave, and it concerns a budget, but not this one.
There you go.
Okay.
Could you please get as many people as you can to go to the school budget hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Because the school budget's up about 13.9%.
Yeah.
You're looking at a 9.8%, a $9,800,000 some odd dollar school budget for next year.
Can I just ask a
And
question about
I
that?
have it, and there's
Yeah.
gonna be some stuff there.
You're
but
more
I
than welcome
really-
to ask a question, but we probably won't be able to answer.
I know, but maybe you know just from doing this, because from what I've looked at, it's like, you wanna turn that camera on? Just kidding. It's like the school can act for anything they want.
No.
I thought that was like
Just feels
mandated
like
by the state.
Well,
Yeah.
the special ed, they have no control over.
Right.
Their transportation costs, I think they said went up 14% this
Yeah.
year. They are gonna be transporting a few number of students to a different school, which I am still working on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Waltonboro.
But the superintendent and the principal came back with a suggestion to drop it a little bit. And it went ballistic that night, so I think people need to come
What night is that? Because I know I saw it on the
last
website.
week.
Thursday.
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 And hopefully ours is done and over with
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Okay.
But I really think people need to, as
I'll
I
go.
made a statement at that meeting, the town has cut their budget as much as they can and have for years, that something's gotta be looked at.
Yeah.
Because there's 160 kids in that school and that's, I
There's
grant
only
it, there's a lot they
160
can't.
Yeah.
And it may even cost them more than that because they don't know how much they're gonna lose in special ed revenue. And my second thing is, just so you know, the 3%, I value employees too, but Social Security recipients only got a 2.8% increase this year. And their premium went up $50. So their 2.8 is on a monthly, not on an hourly, and their
Yeah.
premium is on a monthly. So I used your example at the school board, that people are getting to the point where they may end up losing their houses and stuff because they're just not going to be able to
Don't want
afford
to see
it.
that happen.
Yeah, no, we don't.
That's my concern.
So,
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of people hurting, you know, that don't get raises,
right,
you know?
or they get raises, but they're on a monthly paycheck, not an hourly paycheck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being part of it and asking all your good questions and pointing
Well,
out
thanks for having some
glitches.
answers. Yeah,
And I'll go back through the,
you guys put a lot of time in, I know. I appreciate it.
And everybody keeps looking for a raise.
Oh, yeah, well, he's got a baby to feed, shoes to buy,
My dog eats a
Choose
lot
to
too.
buy.
right? Yeah,
And he's about to have lambs soon.
are you gonna have lambs?
No.
I'm gonna, half my flock's gonna show up in his
It's a bad
beautiful little
rumor.
fields.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Mark.
I looked up your car, I looked it up to try and find
Moving on,
parts.
track left.
I did not have much luck.
Gavel up.
On to
I did get a phone
administrator report.
We have our audit scheduled for March 25th through 28th. Thank you. And
Well, we got half an hour left.
our account balance is $4,960,480. Other than that, Elaine just got out all the W-2s and 1099s, and we're on schedule with DRA. I've got all of this already uploaded to the DRA portal, so they're reviewing it, or they'll be able to review it quickly so that we can get everything prepped for the meeting. So everything's good, just busy.
Before we get too far away from budget, I just wanna make sure you saw, I think it's Madeline's comment, so that it's noted for the
Yeah, you
record,
talked about the 7%
This-
for the chief.
the
was
7%.
too much.
Yep, she just believes it's not fair for the chief to get a 7% increase while others only get 3%. Thank you, Madeline.
So why are we doing that? Answer your question.
They're talking about that at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's what Monday's about.
Yep.
And when do we vote on the article?
That's the,
At the
At the
budget?
budget
At the
hearing.
budget hearing.
So that's what Emily was saying, that, you remember last year, we went through the whole green thing,
I don't
and
remember
then we went
yesterday,
back
I
and went through the
remember
whole
last year.
yellow thing, and it took forever, so she's suggesting,
just.
Go through the
budget. I mean,
yellow?
just the warrant.
talk
I
the
like that.
numbers, and then vote, and then move on to the next one.
That's smart.
So that's all I've got for my administrator report, unless you guys have any questions for me.
Nope,
No.
no.
All right,
Moving on
Did
to
you gavel it?
the signature file. I make a motion to approve the select board meeting minutes for January 14th, 2025, as well as the select board non-public meeting minutes for January 14th, 2025.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Very yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Price, yes.
Roberts, yes. 5 yes, 0 no. Make a motion to approve the intent to excavate for map 202, lot 9, access road, route 113. It is an existing gravel pit.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Very yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Price, yes.
Roberts, yes. 5 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of
Bruno, sit down.
Good thing I am.
$641,945.69.
Second.
So, do we
It's
have
the rescue vehicle.
the rescue vehicle? So we purchased a rescue vehicle, and that was a big portion, and I
yeah,
can.
$326,000.
$326,000 of that was the rescue vehicle, and then there must have been a school payment for $250.
Yeah.
Is it 3 something now?
It's close to 3.
I think it's 3.
This
So
is
that's
checks.
over 600,000 of it between the school and the rescue vehicle.
We didn't vote yet.
Roll call.
Vote. You say yes?
Very yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Price, yes.
Roberts, yes. 5 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the payroll in the amount of $70,889.01.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Very yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Price, yes.
Roberts, yes. 5 yes, 0 no. Select board update.
Nothing new other than what I indicated earlier.
Nothing new for me.
Wow, that got to me fast.
I know, it's,
Um,
that's a killer.
So I've been working with Brian Gillespie at the transfer station and talking about how we're gonna get the ground level compactor, where we're gonna put it. Rich has been doing a lot of work with the contractors as far as the concrete work goes. Had some good conversations with the road agent this week about how he's gonna help out with removal and disposal of the, shouldn't say removal, disposal and transportation of the blacktop that's getting pulled up and any materials that we might need. But one of the problems we've run into is the location of the ground level compactor, where we would like it ideally, is encumbered by the fact that the can for the tin crusher is right there, and we'd have to roll off, and we'd be right in the way of the compactor. So instead of shifting that compactor down and making it fairly awkward to have a lane of trash thrown on one side, and then you move down 10 or 15 feet and have your other lanes of trash thrown, coupled with the fact that there's really no need to crush the tin or the aluminum. Matter of fact, found out that, I wanted to clarify rather for the board that we don't haul a lot of tin. We pack that for I think about half a year and then they take it. So it's not like it's a lot of hauling fees, or a lot of hauling. We don't pay a hauling fee on that anyways, it goes to Rickers. And they don't care if it's crushed at all either. And we also have the aluminum that everyone loads in to the shed, and then it gets moved into the crusher. We crush the cans, and then that gets moved into the coffin can, where then that gets hauled loose off to Rickers and they crush it down. And they also don't care if that comes crushed or not. So I'm proposing that we do away with both of those items, free up all that space, put the compactor where we actually want it, and replace it with just open top, or not open top, or coffin cans, and we can just loose throw our tin and aluminum into, which frees up a lot of space for other possibilities with basic for the recycling, but if nothing else, removes the impediment that they are now.
So then the only real impact of that is that Rickers might come twice a year instead of once a year, or 3 times a year instead of twice.
Correct.
Because it's the volume's different.
Correct.
Yeah.
But there's no.
They're not charging anyway.
Yeah, right.
Correct.
I'm just
Brian
saying.
already ran this
Yeah.
past them, as far as getting them loose, they don't care. We just
They don't
can't put them in with the regular metal, they need to have it separated, but
Right.
it doesn't need to be crushed.
Perfect.
Easy.
And the NRA SWAT team made essentially that recommendation a while ago, at least with regard to the tin. I don't
Yes.
remember about
Yeah.
the aluminum. And it's the moving of the aluminum, there's more steps than I thought.
So
It
many.
eats up, just like the cardboard, the way we do it is kind of barbaric.
Yeah.
And the last thing is that most people have probably noticed that on the back side of that recycling line, or the left side, however you want to look at it, it can tend to accumulate quite a bit of water. So while we're doing this, we'd like to put in a drain
Oh, great.
right along that edge so that there's no more water issues. And then we can turn the cans around so they face as they were a year ago, and people can be driving up, depositing the recyclables on the left, and then continuing around to the MSW. So I'm gonna.
Good.
Oh, not too bad, I kinda like the water.
You like to wash your boots off?
I'm gonna miss that.
We'll leave a bucket for you, Bruno.
Thank you.
Could we talk to the road agent about putting the drain in?
I did talk to the road agent, he wasn't inclined to take that on. However, I have yet to be able to reach out to any contractors and understand what that entails.
Yeah. It's probably a good place for a perforated pipe surrounded by stone as opposed to an open ditch. Because somebody's gonna drive into the ditch if there was one.
Yeah,
Right.
some type of simple
French
French
drain
drain
needs to be-
probably.
And there's some great change to daylight it.
Did you have any luck getting in touch with concrete contractors?
I got a quote today from Dino Construction. His first name is Dean, so it's Dino Construction. With a quote for $7,000 for the slab. So haven't reached out to any others. I wanted to figure out how much might it be. Since it's over 5,000, our procurement policy says we should seek an invitation to bid as opposed to call a few people.
I think, did I send you over the contact for Chinook Concrete?
I think so, yeah, that's on the
Yeah.
list. I gave we have a couple of electrical contractors, a couple of concrete, and we're trying to hold them all in one place. So we need to think about, I think it makes sense for us to put out an invitation to bid and not just take one or make a few phone calls.
I get a couple prices.
Because who knows? I thought he said on the phone 4,000 and I was so excited. And then it came in an email and it was 7,000, so I must have misheard him. But And I did already develop the request for bids for concrete, so we have that. We just need to send it out, and there's no real hurry. So we should probably do that, and the electrical as a separate.
It'd probably be more reasonable too for the concrete if it was done like, obviously when the weather gets warmer, if that's a possibility.
Well, and Dean said that on the phone. He said, this can wait till spring, right? Because he doesn't want to have to deal with groundwater.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because the gentleman with the compactor was saying that we could do it on the wintertime, no problem.
Well,
Yeah.
you can do the concrete, no problem in the
It'll
winter time, but
form up, but it could make the digging
yeah,
tricky.
and the digging would most definitely be tricky, but the concrete itself like is more expensive to buy because they have to
Different
put
tax-
hot water
tax
and
stuff,
do
yeah.
different stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's like another $35 a yard just for the concrete.
Okay,
I don't know how many. It's probably not many yards, but
yeah.
anyway.
Okay,
Where? Oh, your turn.
we're at me. So planning board, we had planning board last Wednesday, and it was one of the livelier meetings I've been at in these years on the planning board. We had a hearing continuation for an earth excavation permit on Depot Road. That a fair number of abutters and people in the neighborhood came to speak about what they perceived as the impact of having essentially aggregate business on a residential town road. And it brought up a lot of conversation about, about how to balance ongoing development with property owner rights, with impact of businesses on small town roads, like physical impact of it. So it was a really interesting series of conversations. If people are interested in the follow-up, it's the hearing's been continued further, so this conversation is gonna go on at the February meeting. We also discussed the build-out analysis report that got done. It's posted on the website, and when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, this is just nonsense. It's like 50 billion dots covering Tamworth. Like, how does this bear any resemblance to reality? Because it shows like in 143 years from now or something, if people built on every possible buildable piece of land that's not under conservation, that's not wetland, that whatever else, what would it look like? What would the density look like? And then there were two other scenarios. One was, well, what if you put a typical 1.5 acre limit on development, like you had to have a 1.5 acre lot, what would it look like? And then the third scenario was the zoning policy that got voted down, but if you put those parameters, what would development look like? And you can see the numbers of dots, and it didn't click for me that it's actually not nonsense, because if you look at where did it go? It used to be right there, didn't it? The Tamworth Community Nurse map that everybody's seen, that shows, that was done in like 1932 or something, and it was a map that was drawn for the town nurse to be able to know where every house in town was. So if you look at that, the tiny little writing, there's a dot on like my road where my house is, that's got a little name penned in next to it, so you could see every house in town. So if you look 100 years ago, when that map was done, there are hardly any dots at all. So maybe it's not so foolish. So anyway, it's a nice exercise to go to the town website, look at the build-out analysis, and see what you think, and feel free to call planning board members, and tell them whatever you think about it.
The one thing that I saw that was unfortunate that they can't really fix it is that they're not gonna go and look at everybody's deed and see where it's deed
Right.
restricted. We can only have one house in our lot.
Yeah.
But I looked at it and there's a couple of other red dots on my lot, cause it's a 15-acre lot.
Right.
But our deed says one house.
Well, and theoretically, that's an interesting point, because theoretically, they got paid the big bucks because they did check into deed restrictions. So,
Can your
And
lot
all
ever be
to know.
subdivided?
No.
No. So
Yeah.
then.
And that they
is-
wrote the deed that way and we bought it that way, and all of the steel lots are the same.
yeah,
And there's a lot of red dots that will never be houses.
yeah,
And it would take so much effort to read 2,000 deeds, it's
yeah.
unfortunate.
The other thing is that the planning board, is talking about the master plan, and I'm pretty sure we agreed on this, or at least it was broached that we should take this tack, that we should find a group of Tamworth residents who are really interested in the master plan process. So that would be some planning board members, but it really could be anybody else too, who's into being the core group that figures out what the process is to do a revision of the master plan, and then starts the process going. So anybody who's interested in potentially being part of that small working group should reach out to Sheldon Perry, who's the chair of the planning board, and the contacts on the website. And then the only other thing is that at the last meeting, Ed asked about the brownfields report from phase 1, and I was under the impression that that had not been made public because of the previous landowner's wishes. But as it turns out, last October, that was published on the New Hampshire DES site, because the process, the brownfields process, we know it's broken in phases, we've been talking about the phases. The reports from each phase are distinct entities, and once a phase is completed, that report's considered final, and it's published on DES website. So that's been available for public review since October something or other, 21st or something like that. And I don't have any specific update other than what I reported last time about the timeline for diving into phase 2. Though this is something we don't have to discuss tonight, but think about, because it will come up. You know, we talked about phase 1 we've done, phase 2 is the actual taking of samples from the lot, scientific sampling. Phase 2.5 is if something is found, we have to plan for mitigation. So there's a planning phase, which is at 0.5. I was talking to folks from LRPC, and they were explaining to me that that planning phase involves specific steps, and in order to get funding for mitigation, if something is found, you have to do the planning phase. So if we don't want to use the land for anything, and we don't want to apply for cleanup funding, we just want to leave it just as it is, untouched, not using it, and we just have the information that there's some toxic whatever, maybe that's okay. But if we want to clean it up, which sounds like what we've committed to, we have to do the planning phase, and that does involve some sort of public meetings where people can come and express their thoughts about what would a good use for that land be for the town. And those people could be just anybody, you know, seasonal residents, year-round residents, department heads, whoever it is. So we would have some kind of talking session around that. That information would be collated, and or maybe there'd be a series of those. I don't really know, but we should be thinking about that, because that would have to take place in the mid to late spring in order for us to create some sort of plan to get funding cleanup. So what that means is, let's say, you know, the thing that's been thrown around a lot is, oh, well, the fire department's gonna need a new place. So let's say the talking session happens and we say, okay, well, it would be great to have that ready for a fire station someday. It doesn't mean we're committed to building the fire station. We could build it in 20 years. It just means we have to clean up to the level of what a fire station would need. So that'll be explained during the process, but again, we don't have to commit to doing anything. We don't have to raise bonds. We don't have to do any of that at any time soon. But the visioning has to happen in order for us to write an application for cleanup. So that's all I've got. That's a lot.
My turn?
Yep.
Please, yeah.
No update from me. Unless somebody wants me to talk for a little while.
No.
I'm hungry.
We said.
Public input,
Oh, sorry. We said Monday at 5?
Yes.
Post-
Monday at
Public
5,
input?
Yep.
Hearing no public input. Motion to adjourn.
7:53.
Thank you.
Hey, Bruno.
Yeah, you only got more?
Alright, thanks, guys.
This was good.
Yep.
I like having this dry run tonight.
Next one will be
Sure. Yeah, going through the
Yeah.
budget that way was.
That wasn't much of a dry run. That was.
It was kind of.
Well, but I mean,
Yeah.
it
That was like
was,
full blown. Like
It was
let's have a
money.
public hearing tonight.
but it's better than having that come up at the budget hearing and not have these answers and have everybody leaving going, ugh.
Promise.